Podmortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is an independent production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers, and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is proud to be a WGA signatory company, and they fully stand by the WGA, SAG, and their members in their fight for extremely reasonable standards. Accordingly, they are not accepting script or treatment submissions at this time, but both William and Xxena Rush are available via email, free of charge, to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers. Their information will be made available in the show notes. Ahead of the strike, William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Coffee with Baba, Day by Day, They Slay, Before, Pack is Here, Abiquiu, The Winemaker, and Where Do You Draw the Line?
2 feature films, Group and Immersion, are slated for release this fall. Absolutely no picket lines will be crossed, and no collective bargaining agreements will be violated in the making of either of these films. And very generously, Original Cinematic is providing all Podmortem patrons with a special link to view these films. If arrangements can be made, they will even schedule a virtual or in-person screening for our patrons. We cannot thank Original Cinematic enough for their contribution to our show and the horror community as a whole. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Salutations! Welcome to Podmortem. I'm Travis Hunter, joined as always by my co-host, my sister, and my brother-in-law.
Hi, I'm Reneé Hunter Vasquez.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
This week, we're broadcasting live from Ridgemont Federal Sanitarium, discussing the 1988 slasher film, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This film was directed by Dwight H. Little from a screenplay by Alan B. McElroy, with a story credited to McElroy, Danny Lipsius, Larry Ratner, and Benjamin Ruffner. Despite the cult status of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, its critical and public reception prompted producers to return the series back to familiar territory on their next outing. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, delivers on its promise of bringing the horror icon back to terrorize Haddonfield once again. Complete with homages to the 1978 horror classic, a palpable atmosphere fitting of the season, a standout performance from child actress Danielle Harris, and a shocking twist ending, this film would go on to box office success and begin what would later become known as the Thorn trilogy of Halloween films. This film was suggested to us by friends of the show, Miguel Myers ATX and Skank Sinatra. We want to thank them both for their continued support of the show, as well as this suggestion. So, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. What were your first impressions on the film?
So I'll be honest. I didn't even know they kind of went this high. I thought it was like 1 and 2, and then later on we got H2O and all that, and it was like, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't even know about 3, and 3's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this was so this was the first watch for me, and it's okay. It's not great. There are some changes.
Yes.
To our favorite slasher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's the Shape anymore, right?
He's A-Shape.
Yeah. Yes, he is A-Shape.
He's a couple different shapes.
Yeah.
As we'll learn.
But it is a Halloween movie. So far from what I've seen, but I have seen H2O and Resurrection, so I'll even take those into account. This wasn't as strong for me. This wasn't as strong as a film. I didn't mind it. I do have some questions. Hopefully you guys can help fill in the blanks or help me steer me in the right direction. But overall, it wasn't too bad. It was pretty decent movie. I know I've said a long time ago how Michael Myers wasn't really, too much because I don't like the silent type. But I do appreciate the first two films a lot more as I dive into more and more Halloween lore and movies and all that.
Okay.
So for me, taking those into consideration, watching this, like I said, there was a lot that did hurt the movie for me as well.
Yeah, this one is kind of a mixed bag for me. I think that it's a lot of fun. I think that a pretty large bulk of it is kind of nothing to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get these really great, like, fleeting moments where you're like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I really do enjoy the ending. I know it is a little polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really interesting. I love having Loomis back, even though I know logically nobody should be back.
Yeah. He goes hard, though.
He does.
He does.
He's great.
No, Donald Pleasance, again, every performance, it's like his rent is due. Like,
Yeah.
he is on an 11, and I can't thank him enough for it. But there are aspects that are a bit messy. We were talking off mic, and there are a lot of things that happen solely so that something else can happen, or so that people are placed in a predicament. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's, and then T and I were talking this morning, there's this like teenage subplot that it's like, okay, whatever.
And they spend a lot of time.
Spend a lot of time on it. I will say, I never realized before this film that Michael Myers is a self-care king, because in the midst of all of these shenanigans, he found time to get some work done. He found time to get, he went blonde.
Yeah.
At one point.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that.
Highlights. Yeah.
We'll talk.
No, but stuff like that, it's like, oh, okay. I feel like the elephant in the room is that mask.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it yet. I was waiting for a little bit.
There are a lot of mistakes regarding the masks in the Halloween franchise. I feel like the first one is obviously perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is the same mask, although it does look a little strange.
Yeah. It does.
For it being the same night.
Yeah, for it being, it's like, are you sure? It's the same? And 3, obviously, we have the awesome Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then 4, it's like, all right, I think you're starting to lose me.
Yeah. It's not good.
No, wait till 5, dude.
Oh, man.
If you don't like this, woo.
Does 5 also have the penciled in brows?
5 just is a teardown.
Yeah.
It's a teardown from start to finish, dude. It's real bad. It's real bad.
No, but yeah, I feel like this movie's a lot of fun. It checks the boxes, I know that it was probably hard to come back from the kind of backlash of 3. And this kind of feels like, all right, here he is. Like, in some aspects.
I mean, look at the subtitle.
Yeah. It's like, chill out.
He's back.
And coming from somebody that really, really deeply enjoys 3, this is still fun. It, like I said, there are pieces of it where it's just like, okay, this is fine.
No, I agree. This was never in our rotation growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Mom is very particular about which Halloweens we watched.
Okay.
We watched, obviously, the first 2. We skipped 3.
Okay.
And then we skipped 4, 5, and 6. And then H2O was new when we were kids.
And we
All
watched
right.
H2O a lot.
That's what I was going to
Yes.
ask. What timeline did she keep y'all on?
Basically, 1, 2, H2O.
Yeah.
Okay.
But discovering these as an adult,
Yeah.
and especially discovering Halloween 3 as an adult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Halloween 3, honestly, is up there as one of the best Halloween sequels.
It's great.
Yeah.
Even without Michael Myers, I love it so much.
Yeah.
This is, as you said, this is okay.
Yeah.
It's nothing magnificent, not a game changer. I will say there's so much reverence for the first films.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it in a lot of the quieter moments.
Yeah.
With Michael Myers, the way he skulks, you're like, oh, I see you're trying to evoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're trying to bring back the shape. It's a shame that the shape is wearing so many pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noticeably.
Noticeably so. But I see what you're trying to do, and then there's some interesting lighting at some points, and you think back and you're like, man, Carpenter and Dean Cundy, it's bringing back these nostalgic feelings.
Yeah.
But there is so much of it that I feel like I'm just kind of there.
Okay.
because I don't really care about the teenage subplot, and they spend a lot of time on it.
I
Yeah.
did get mad. I don't want to act like I'm just sitting there. No, I was pissed off.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
But and I think it's just even more ridiculous when they return to them later. It's
Yes!
like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what he's doing right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I'm already done with this.
Yeah.
There's kind of an ending to it, but I mean,
yeah.
I know.
But I mean, we'll get to it. But I appreciate the callbacks. I appreciate certain little nods to 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Some nods to 2 are very funny.
Yeah.
Because they should not even be here right now. But you gotta love the music. You gotta love Donald Pleasance.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I know you say the ending is polarizing. I think it is brilliant.
Yeah. I for me, I didn't really. I was like, yeah, you know what I mean. But I think, and I'll explain later.
Okay.
But I think it was just for me. And I've said it with other movies, but for me, it was just a little bit telegraphed. So I was just kind of like,
well,
I was expecting that.
There
And it didn't really kick for me. And you know what? And I know this is a small gripe, but I know Carpenter didn't do the music for this. That this music isn't as good as the second one.
the music is done by the guy who did the second one.
I know, but I'm saying like the synth, like I want more synth, man.
You really fell in love with that score.
You
Yeah,
did.
I just it is different enough to where it really did. For whatever reason, the second movie's music, I was just like, this is fucking fantastic.
I'm a traditionalist, and so I can't say that anything's better than the first.
Yeah, no.
But I think for me, the ending though,
Yeah.
it really could have been the ending of the franchise for me.
Okay.
I think that it could work, and what they do later, I'm not a fan of the Thorn trilogy,
Yeah.
really, and I know you guys you said you didn't.
No.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Michael gets a sweet tattoo. We'll learn.
What?
We'll learn.
I don't know if I can wait to watch these.
I can't.
But yeah, it's
tattoo.
You'll understand.
All right. So does the team, the production team and everything that does this, do they do the rest of the Thorn trilogy, or is this like is it done by different teams that are doing it? Like they get different people in and out.
So you had Mustafa Akkad, the producer, and actually that can actually lead into all of the production stuff. Actually,
Okay.
I said actually a lot in that sense. But basically what happened was it was originally this film was going to be John Carpenter and Deborah Hill involved still.
Okay.
And so they had this idea, and I learned this from an article on Blumhouse and an article in Fangoria. But Halloween 4 actually began with a script from Dennis Etchison, and he was commissioned by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. He had written the novelizations for The Fog, Halloween 2, and Halloween 3.
Okay.
And they're like, why don't you write Halloween 4?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, of course. And so his idea was to focus on Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace.
Okay.
So the kids that Laurie babysat in the first film,
Yeah.
they're the main characters of Halloween 4 10 years later.
All right.
Which honestly I think would have been...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like that idea.
We're still in the same neighborhood. We're familiar. We
Yeah.
know what's going on.
And they apparently would have still been living in the same houses.
Yeah.
Right? From, it
Oh,
would have
yeah.
been really cool.
Yeah.
But their idea was to bring back Michael Myers, but not as what we would expect.
Okay.
Because Michael would actually kind of become a tulpa.
You know I love a tulpa.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea was basically that Halloween had been banned in Haddonfield.
Oh, shit.
And so the fear and repression of this holiday would have given the spirit of Michael Myers the power to return.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's pretty damn good because
Yeah.
we did watch them both explode
Yeah.
Yes.
in the second one.
Yeah, it would have made a lot more sense. And we watched him walk out full of fire
Yeah.
and collapse dead.
Yeah.
His mask burning is the last shot of him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
so-
kind of a statement.
I would say so.
I wonder if they were worried that it's too close to Freddy, because Freddy also feeds off of their fear.
True. All I know, Carpenter and Hill loved the idea.
Yeah. What's great.
Mustafa Akkad hated it. He said, what we need Michael back, flesh and blood.
I had read that it was called too cerebral.
Okay.
I didn't know all the details that you just said, but I would love to see that movie.
Yeah.
but I had read that it was called Too Cerebral and that people wanted him back, like you said, in slasher form, physically.
Which, I mean, I understand from a commercial standpoint. As far as financially, that is a big leap.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it does kind of almost keep with this idea of an anthology where it's like, no, this is a ghost story. This isn't your standard. We're not going back to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We're still doing something different. But it never got made, and Carpenter and Hill sold their stake in the franchise to Mustafa Akkad, and part of that was not Etchinson's script. And so it just fell by the wayside.
Like for just this movie or for the franchise?
Oh, for the franchise. They were, yeah.
Oh, they were just done?
Yeah, they were done.
But imagine, though, the number of times that they've tried to take this to a different place, and every time it's like, no, let's just do the same thing again.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't blame them for kind of washing their hands.
And you see Carpenter as a filmmaker, he doesn't really repeat himself.
Yeah.
He did Escape from New York and Escape from LA, and I really think that's about
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, when you think about it, there's
He's
no...
like, we're out.
Yeah.
We've escaped.
We've escaped. There's no The Fog 2.
That's the story. That's
you know?
it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And honestly, 1 and 2 as a punch is fine.
Yeah.
And I would have been fine to see Halloween become an anthology or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Mustafa Akkad wanted to take things back to basics.
Okay.
And he wanted to kind of start from scratch all over again with things that we're familiar with. And so what I read in Fangoria is a lot of people said that we need to undo the damage of Halloween 3.
What?
Yeah.
Slander.
I think the problem with saying something like that is that, like, if Michael Myers was in the movie and it was just so ridiculous, it was like, but he wasn't there. So how can you say that hurt any of the movie when it had nothing to do with Michael Myers?
I think they thought it hurt the franchise brand.
No, I
disagree.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that movie was just before its time.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Y'all just weren't ready for it.
Yeah. But Dwight H. Little came aboard because he had made an action film in India.
Okay.
And Mustafa Akkad saw it, and it reminded him somewhat of a film that he had been a part of in the past. And so it intrigued him enough to set a meeting with Dwight Little, and Little kind of pitched an idea with Alan McElroy for what would become Halloween 4. And because it was kind of, I mean, when you think about it, Halloween night, Michael Myers, babysitter, like, it is really back to basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Mustafa Akkad loved the idea, and they obviously ran with it. There are some changes. There's a bit of heavy-handedness that I read in the script that you were talking about something being telegraphed. There was one line that was cut that I think will make you bust out laughing.
Oh, God.
But you had said that the script was written in haste.
Yeah. There was an impending writer's strike.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he wrote it in 11 days.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Topical.
Which,
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
But I do think this is a return, obviously, to familiarity.
Yeah.
It's a return to continuity, even if we kind of discount some of the events of Halloween 2. I just feel like, I don't know, I want to love this film more. There's real moments of brilliance in it.
Yeah.
There really is.
And Halloween is top 5 all time,
Yeah.
if not top 1,
Yeah.
depending on the day that you ask me.
I feel like you just have to take it for what it is. There's going to be continuity issues with the way Michael looks, with scars, with there's just a lot to take in. You just have to accept it for what it is.
It's a real trick or treat.
Yeah.
Now, before we stalk this film in the night, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Pod Mortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, let's return to Haddonfield. Now, this film relies heavily on having already seen Halloween and Halloween 2. If you haven't, we recommend you go watch them, or go listen to episodes 31 and 73 of our show as a refresher. So the film opens with white text on a black background, October 30th, 1988. This gives way to a shot of a rural farmhouse in the middle of autumn. After we see a mailbox adorned with the seasonal decoration of a skull, we get the title in orange, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. The opening credits continue as a breeze blows dust past an old building with a decorative skeleton plastered to it and causes a ghost hanging in a bare tree to sway back and forth. A scarecrow with a pumpkin head sits at the wheel of a tractor wielding an axe, and a pitchfork stabs its barbs into the sunset. We will never see this location again.
No. I did like the vibes.
Yes.
I did enjoy the fall / Halloween vibes. I just was expecting a pumpkin.
Yeah. Especially whenever they're talking about back to basics.
Yeah.
Return to form. I'm expecting the title that we're all familiar with.
Yeah.
But it was a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
And the director had talked on commentary about wanting to film this because I guess they did a lot of research on the holiday of Halloween.
Okay.
And what it represented. And so he was trying to evoke that with this, I guess, little montage at the beginning.
All right.
Cool.
So, and interestingly, their filming was in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
And so they had said that it was a lot cheaper than filming in California because it was Pasadena that doubled for Haddonfield in the first film.
Ah, okay.
And then in this film, they actually go to, I believe, Utah's the Midwest, right?
I believe.
Yeah.
Well, then they went to
Somewhere
the
in there.
Yeah, they've done
In
it.
that vicinity, you know.
They have done it.
In the opening credits too, it says introducing Danielle Harris.
Yeah, this is her first.
Yeah.
Really?
And I
Yeah.
looked it up
All
because
right.
I was curious. And it's just a few years from this when she was on Roseanne.
Oh, really?
I don't mean to keep bringing up Roseanne,
Well,
the
that was
show.
great.
Oh,
yeah.
she was.
Yeah,
that's
she was the
right,
neighbor.
The neighbor,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Darlene
mean-
hated her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She did. Well, David.
David
Yeah,
was
wow.
acting up. David was doing too much too.
I will say I learned on a featurette has nothing to do with Roseanne.
Aw, darn.
Sorry about that. I learned on a featurette that the film was originally going to open. It was going to be a shot kind of going down the halls of Haddonfield Memorial,
Okay.
the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and it was going to show Loomis being blasted out of the door with a ball of fire to show that he
He's
had survived.
okay. He's
Of
okay.
course. Yeah.
They decided against this. They're like, let's show a farm real quick.
I feel like this is obviously a much more peaceful opening.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have nitpicked or talked shit if they did include that.
Mm-hmm.
But them not including it when he just shows up later, I'm like, come on
Yeah.
now, stop that.
But we fade into later that night. An ambulance with its lights flashing rounds a corner on a rainy road as thunder rumbles and tense music picks up. So we already talked at the top about Alan Howarth
Yeah.
doing the score for the film. I saw an interview with him where he had talked about being offered the job. And he had said that, I guess, after what had happened with Carpenter selling the rights to it and everything,
Yeah.
he is still friends with John Carpenter. And so he called him on the phone to make sure it would be okay with him if he took the
Yeah.
job. And so I thought that was it was something very sweet about it.
Yeah.
But you hear in the opening, and it takes a while before we hear the classic Halloween theme.
Yeah.
This kind of like tense, foreboding, almost just atmospheric
Yeah.
kind of a thing. I think what happened with the farm sequence at the beginning, it fit it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you finally hear the theme that we're all waiting for, we're like, oh yeah.
It's like, ooh. Yeah, because I have in my notes, okay, music,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's good.
it is.
Is this from the second movie, or this is completely new right now? Right, we're not getting dropped in from
No.
Oh, no.
nothing that like, oh, well, this also happened on
No.
the side.
Nope.
All right.
No, this is 10 years later.
Okay.
And interestingly, though, I mean, after the iconic opening of the first Halloween with Michael and the POV and everything,
Yeah.
we begin with a transport in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we're following the same beats in a weird way.
Yeah.
But the windshield wipers are working overtime for the two uncredited drivers as they pull into Ridgemont Federal Sanitarium. An uncredited guard lets them inside after checking their credentials, and the camera rises to the large white building behind the fence. Entering the building are two attendants, Jay Black, played by David Jensen, and Elle Evans, played by Nancy Borgenicht. They speak to a security guard, played by Raymond O'Connor, and he asks them the purpose of their visit. Black tells them that they're here for a patient pickup and a transfer to Smith's Grove. After some small talk about the rain outside, the guard offers to take them down, telling his uncredited coworker that he'll be right back.
So this dude, fantastic guy.
Yeah?
O'Connor. He's one of those character actors that's just there in the background all the time, but he's there. And when you see his face, you'll know him. And I know that you guys know some stuff he's been on.
All right.
What?
So my man here has done Malcolm in the Middle.
No shit.
He did some work on L.A. Noire.
Really?
Yeah, he did. He was on The Rock, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
He was on Sister,
Hey.
and he's been on Seinfeld.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah, you did say that earlier
Yes.
too.
He does look familiar. His role in this opening was hilarious to me.
It is.
Yes, it
But
is.
they give him some really fucking great lines amidst all the shit.
Yeah.
And the line that he leaves on, I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Oh, yeah,
that's-
yeah.
He's fine. Well,
That's against the rules. Yeah.
yeah. But bathed in red light, the guard and the attendants make their way through the hallway for the patient that they've come to transport. The guard asks if this is their first time here, and Evans responds that she hopes it's their last time. Uh-huh.
Thanks. I
Well-
work here.
Yeah.
The guard shares with them that you never get used to the faces, no matter how long you've been here. In front of them walks a patient led by another guard, foaming at the mouth wearing a straitjacket, and then a loud shriek from a nearby room cuts through the silence of the sanitarium. When Black instinctively mutters, "Jesus," the guard tells him that Jesus has nothing to do with this place.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that was a great line. But I also feel like you shouldn't be that shaken by just a far off scream.
Yeah.
And
This is your job.
they work at Smith's Grove.
yeah.
I don't...
He's like, Jesus.
I quit.
He just runs off.
Yeah. But he leads them to an old elevator, sliding the gate open for them and turning the key. Under his breath, the guard tells them that this is where society dumps their worst nightmares. But as the elevator travels downward, the guard fills in the attendants who have not seen the 1978 horror classic Halloween or the 1981 slasher sequel, Halloween 2. He tells them that just thinking about the patient that they're here to pick up gives him the willies. He says that a decade ago, this patient murdered about 16 people, and maybe even more, while trying to get his sister.
Few things.
What's up?
First of all, do y'all remember the movie The Willies?
Of course.
Yes.
I loved that movie.
It was gross, dude.
It was gross. It was so good. Secondly, so we're holding on to the sister thing.
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
Yeah. Well, the sister thing is very important.
It is important to this one. But
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't like it.
no. And lastly, the whole recap made me laugh out loud
Yeah.
because it was like, look, I know the last one had nothing to do with Michael. So let me take you all the way back.
It's been some years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we've seen it, dude, who just walks into a 3. I mean, a 4.
Yeah.
I know people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
But
happens.
yeah, that's just hilarious to
Yeah.
me.
But I did appreciate that too, because I was like, okay, you're gonna tell us what's happening.
Yeah.
been a while.
Previously on Halloween.
Yes.
I was like, all right.
And it's necessary.
Yeah, because we need to know what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, if anybody's coming in to just brand
Yeah.
new, then you can get a quick rundown of what's happening.
And we need to know continuity as well.
Yeah.
True.
If they're like, remember when we survived that thing with
Yeah.
that evil Halloween Mass Factory
Yeah.
last year? You're like, oh, that's
Oh,
in this
wow.
one too?
Yeah.
That's canon.
Yeah.
It's wild to me as well. Anytime in these movies where you're going to meet like anybody in confinement, or even like somebody that our protagonist hasn't met yet and they're being led to their office or anything, we have to hear how scary and how he's his eyes and he still gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
Like we always have to hear how horrifying this person is before we get there. And it's like, I understand for the audience, but if this were real and I were that person, I'd be like, can you tell me this after? Like, we safely get him where he needs to go.
When we've transported him, can you give me a call, please?
I'm terrified. Don't tell me this now.
And watch your pets.
Yeah.
Seriously. With this patient in particular. But he says that the patient nearly got his sister, but his doctor, of all people, shot him 6 times and set him on fire. The guard says that they nearly burned to death, but regardless, he'll be glad to see him gone.
Nearly.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly.
It's like we should have seen at the beginning, maybe,
Yeah.
Just how nearly?
him being blasted to safety. But as they reach the bottom floor, the guard slides the gate open, welcoming the attendants to hell. The camera sweeps past the room behind metal bars, blue light beaming from machinery and cast against the walls. Dr. Hoffman, played by Michael Pataki, stands next to the bed of the patient. Michael Myers, played by George P. Wilbur. So, here's the thing. Michael Myers in many scenes is played by a guy called Tom Morga.
Mm-hmm.
Including this scene, he's credited as Michael Myers bandaged.
Okay.
But there's plenty of other scenes in the film where he is Michael Myers.
All right.
But the only stuntman, I guess, to get credit was George P. Wilbur, who we see later on a lot, and we see because there's a lot of padding.
Yeah.
And we can tell who's playing him.
Oh, okay.
When?
Yeah.
I was going to say, so that explains why he looks very different in different scenes.
Yes. One interesting thing about Tom Morga is that they say that he's the only actor to play Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What a resume.
Yeah. But he was actually fired in the middle of production after I said he performed a lot of the stunts.
Yeah.
Because there was one stunt that he performed that I guess we'll get to it later, but he tripped over something to make an exit, and the way that he did it upset the producers.
All right.
And
Upset?
so, well, they were like, Michael wouldn't do it like that. And so they fired him.
Like you guys are on a first name basis. Y'all hang out with Michael Myers. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he would never do a thing like that.
Right.
There
we
are
went
a
to high
few
school
things
together.
in this movie. Yeah.
But I do prefer his shape of the shape and his movements. He's no Nick Castle.
Right.
Nobody is. But I feel like George Wilbur, I appreciate his work in the film. And he is a lot of good credits to his name as well.
Yeah.
He did stunts in Blackula,
Okay.
Blazing Saddles,
Oh, yeah.
Escape from New York,
Yeah.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ton of stuff. But he is an effective Michael Myers.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there's an aura of Michael Myers that Nick Castle captured.
Yeah.
Do we ever get a head tilt in this?
I don't
think so, right?
recall one, no.
Yeah.
And in that mask, I can't even tell,
Yeah.
which we'll
Right,
learn.
he might be.
Yeah, he's tilting right now. I
Yeah,
don't
we'll never know.
But Michael's face is bandaged and his body is covered in a blanket. Dr. Hoffman's assistant, played by MJ McDonnell, calls out to him, telling him that the transfer personnel are here. The attendants walk past her and into the room with Dr. Hoffman. He introduces himself to them and confirms that they're from Smith's Grove. He tells them that the patient has been prepped and asks Black to sign paperwork for his transfer. Evan stays behind to check Michael out as Black steps out with Hoffman.
Don't leave me alone with them.
Dude,
Why do y'all need to step out into the hall to do this? Or let's all step out into the hall and then we can all come back in. You've just spent the entire walk down here, the entire ride down here telling me horrifying stories about this dude.
and I will leave you alone.
And then like, hey, good night. It's like, wait, what?
But she unzips her bag and puts on her stethoscope, checking Michael's blood pressure with a cuff. As she checks his right arm, Michael's left arm falls out of bed and out of the blanket, revealing burn scars on his hands and wrist.
So the bandages kind of threw me off because this is 10 years later. So is he still healing or has he been bandaged this whole time?
To me, I always felt like it was maybe a matter of him needing a mask.
I understand that it's a
Okay.
surrogate mask,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't make sense.
I figured what I kind of put it as in my mind is that when he doesn't have his face covered, he freaks out. And
Okay.
they're like, he's just a lot easier to deal with. If we don't
Right, give him the mask,
just wrap him up, please. But I have no proof. This is all speculation.
Yeah.
Right.
But in Hoffman's office, Black expresses surprise at the fact that Dr. Loomis isn't here, since Michael Myers is still his patient.
I feel like probably unethical for him to still be his patient.
Yeah.
He did shoot him 6 times.
He shot him
Yeah.
6 times.
It's canonical.
Yeah.
He set him on fire. There's conflict of interest.
Maybe
here.
you need a break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got history. He knows them better than anyone
I
else.
guess.
Yeah.
But right off the bat, you're like, Loomis would be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoffman, checking his paperwork, says that if Loomis read memos, he'd be here. But he shares that Loomis's position is more ceremonial than medical. Very cruelly, Hoffman says that with Myers gone, he hopes that Loomis will either transfer, retire, or die.
What?
God damn, dude.
It's like, why?
Yeah.
What has he done to you?
He was a bit of
Yeah.
a nuisance for a little bit, but everything that he said came true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he still can't get his flowers, even now.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Why has he got to die?
I don't.
Like, that's crazy.
And another thing that was weird to me about this is that we're transferring him back to the facility he broke out of 10 years ago.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's taking him that whole time to build a special
Maybe.
place for him or something.
They're like, this is the Michael room.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He can't get out. Trust me.
This whole conversation was just strange because I feel like he does not need to be telling Loomis's business like that anyway.
No.
And he's like, if he read memos that I jot down on my own desk and then throw in my own trash can, he'd be here. It's like, I don't believe you.
But back in the room, Evans takes the blood pressure cuff off Michael's arm, telling her cohort that Michael is ready to be moved. The Halloween theme plays as Michael is moved on a stretcher outside in the rain and loaded into the back of the ambulance by the 2 attendants and the 2 uncredited paramedics. Hoffman remarks that now he can safely say Michael Myers is in their hands. Black states the obvious, that Hoffman is glad to see him go, and Hoffman just nods with a smile.
The nod did make me laugh because he's like, no, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Good luck. But Evans hops into the back with Michael as Black heads up front with the paramedics, Hoffman telling them to drive carefully. He peers through the back window, a sneering look on his face as he eyes his now former patient. The ambulance pulls away from the sanitarium and into the rainy night. But inside the ambulance, Black and Evans are both in the back with Michael now. I swear I saw him go up front with the paramedics.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I thought so too, but I thought, I was like, no, I you know what I mean? I was like, I didn't see it right.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, for me, there's quite a few continuity issues that we see in the film.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
One is just egregious.
And if you like continuity errors,
But I was like, okay, well, maybe he jumped over the seat.
Something, yeah.
He's like, oh, you need help back there?
Yeah, because I thought it was just the one person back there.
It
with
was,
him.
yeah.
just dove.
Yeah.
Through that little window.
Yeah. Be right there. But Evans asks Black if Hoffman said anything about Michael having any living relatives. Here, Nate's still laughing. But he says that Michael actually does have a niece that lives in Haddonfield, but she's too young to be his legal ward. Upon hearing this, Michael clenches his fist around his blankets like the Arthur meme.
My note was not the Arthur fist.
Why?
So here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
You were just told this fucking backstory of everything that he did to try to get to his sister.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you talking about his next of kin right in front of him, over him?
And is this even important for Evans to be asking right now?
No.
So does he have any family or anything? It's like, dude, get him to Smith's Grove.
Shut up. Nobody talk.
I think they were trying to imply when she was like, she's too young to take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Was there nobody to come see him? But
Yeah, but that's not their business.
No,
Like,
yeah,
y'all
but
don't
even
need to be
at
talking
that,
about this.
you're right. If this is what he was here for,
Mm-hmm.
maybe don't let him know that.
No, you know his family is like waking a sleeper cell.
Yeah.
But that is very funny too to think that he's just laying there, just playing possum the whole time until it's like, oh no, he's
I got
got
it.
relatives. What the
It's like,
I got what I needed.
know.
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah, he's like,
You know that
"God damn
sister he
it."
was after?
Yeah.
Her daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe the next 80 minutes they should.
Yeah,
You know, if he could get up, he'd probably be going there.
yeah.
What are you doing?
I bet that hardware store you got the mask is still open. It's only been 10 years.
I bet they're in the same damn town. He knows how to get there.
Oh,
he can't get
yeah.
up though. It's fine.
Good thing he's here with us.
He can drive himself.
This is ridiculous. Oh yeah, somebody taught him how to drive.
Yeah, it's true. But Evans comments sarcastically about Michael being a ward of the state, but Black says that there's one thing that he still doesn't understand. Before he can share what that is, Michael's hand reaches up, seizing Black's face and slamming his head bloody against the wall of the ambulance as Evans screams and cowers on the floor.
He got all he needed. He's like,
Yeah.
now it's time to break out. And she didn't even try to help.
No. She just kind of, best she could, she ran away.
Yeah.
She should have dove through that window like he did.
It's like, drive. But after repeated slams, Michael then presses his thumb into Black's forehead, blood pouring from the fresh wound.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
It was surprising.
It was a bit of a what the hell?
Oh, yeah.
At the moment, I was like, what? Where'd you learn that?
It's like, oh, okay.
No.
It's like 10 years I've just been practicing. I did learn that this was actually like an animatronic hand.
Okay.
And the thumb was retractable, and so it's not even a real hand that's doing this.
Yeah.
But they said that this was added in reshoots.
Okay.
Because the first cut of the film, they said, wasn't gory enough. And so this is one of two scenes that have been added to the film. There's one later that I was like, holy shit. But I was very surprised. But it doesn't take away. It's very surprising.
Yeah.
But to me, it just doesn't fit the vibe of what I'm looking for in a Halloween film.
Yeah.
You know?
That's this seems more, and the more as we watch kind of Jason.
Yeah.
This kind of seems like that. You know, and it's not.
I can see that.
Yeah.
He's got to get out of there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what you expect him to do.
And that was the thing. They said, we need to figure out a way to, and they're like, a thumb in the forehead.
Yeah.
Easy.
But we cut to a house in Haddonfield where we find Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, sitting on the couch in the dark, watching the storm through a window. So as we said at the top, I think she is just great in this film.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
There's a lot of times we talk about child performances kind of being unfortunately distracting.
Yeah.
But I feel like hers is so good, and she honestly makes you feel a lot.
That's what I was gonna say. Is there are moments when she's scared or she's crying, and I'm like, oh my god! Like, I just like instinctively you want to like help her.
Yeah.
She does really excellent in this.
Yeah.
They had said that they had done a lot of casting in Salt Lake City, but they had found her in New York City.
Okay.
And they had her come in. Her audition was to scream, cry, and read a few lines. And they kind of knew immediately.
Yeah.
I bet.
But we had said this is her film debut. They had actually said on set that they showed her very intricately how all of the stuff is done. Mm-hmm. So that way, whenever it came time for these horrific or horrifying scenes, she's like, oh, I've seen basically the behind the scenes of this.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm not going to get too scared.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Sunday, the uncredited dog next to her, makes a low whine as thunder cracks. Through a flash of lightning parked across the street, we see the ambulance for Smith's Grove Sanitarium. Now, the ambulance for some reason says Smith Grove. But, you know, they had to...
That's hilarious.
I mean, they did their best.
Yeah. Just put Grove Street on there. That's fine.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But I think we come to find out later that there's no way that the ambulance could even be here.
No,
So maybe
no.
she's just like, I'm pretty sure
My vision is telling me that it's close enough.
that's something close to
It's not
it.
going to be 100%. I'm a little girl with a dream. All right? But into the room walks Rachel Carruthers, Jamie's foster sister, played by Ellie Cornell. She tells Jamie that it's 4 a.m., but Jamie says that she can't sleep. Rachel remarks that this is 4 nights in a row and asks if she's going for a record. Jamie turns to Rachel and asks her if she loves her. Rachel is surprised by this very serious question, but tells Jamie that of course she loves her. But when Jamie asks if she loves her like a real sister, Rachel reminds her that they're not real sisters, but she tells her that that doesn't mean that she loves her any less. Now, this was exposition and screenwriting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but I feel like this could have honestly, if we're going to have this conversation in the ambulance, let's tell it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just say, yeah, he has a niece in Haddonfield. He's living with a foster family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, instead of it being like, well, we're not real sisters.
Yeah.
Which felt really rude for her to even say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of gasped at that, but I think you're right. Like Usher said, if you're going to tell it, then you got to tell it all. I feel like that does kind of detract, because for a while in this, until much later, I'm like, how does Rachel feel about the situation?
Yeah.
Because I feel like even in this, even though she's like, it doesn't mean I doesn't love you. It doesn't mean I don't love you, whatever. It's still, when you say, well, we're not real sisters.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why'd you have to say it like that?
You could have just said you love her like a real sister.
It's
Yeah.
almost, you got to sit there and let it burn.
Yeah,
But you right?
like he says.
These are her confessions.
Yeah.
The thing is, for me, though, is I think that their dynamic becomes one of the like sincere parts of the film.
Yeah.
It really does.
And so it is odd to start it this way.
Yeah.
And I will say, now that we've introduced her, I enjoy Rachel. I don't know. Like I said at the top, I'm not very familiar with the Thorn trilogy. I
Yeah.
don't know how far into that she goes. I mean, assuming she survives this one, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point of the film. But I enjoy her. I think that she is a good lead. And I did read, I think I read on her IMDb that she had auditioned for the role of Tina in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Really?
And she didn't get it.
Okay.
And then I read somewhere else that they both auditioned for this and she got this. And I was like, well, that's a cute story. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
But I like it.
But I'll tell it.
Yeah. But if I got to tell it, then I got to tell it all.
I do like her. I feel like she has, like, they try to give her almost Laurie Strode energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like she is a really decent character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see where Rachel goes
Yeah.
Yeah.
from here. But when the lightning strikes outside again, the ambulance is gone. I thought this was a callback to Michael standing outside of Laurie's classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So did I. I was like, oh, this fool drove over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, wait.
We learned.
Hold on.
But responding to what Rachel said, Jamie says that of course means that she doesn't love her like a real sister. But Rachel comforts Jamie, telling her that she knows that she misses her parents and that it hasn't been that long since they died. Jamie replies that it's been 11 months. But with a smile, Rachel tells Jamie that her mother used to babysit her when she was her age. Despondent, Jamie tells Rachel that she's lucky and that she wishes that her mother could do the same for her now.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was the move to say that.
yeah.
Not so much.
Not right now. Not at this moment.
No. I spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way more than you got to.
Like, will you stop?
Rachel, what the fuck?
Go to bed.
She was super cool.
Yeah. Man, if you would have really gotten to know her, you have no idea. It's like, what are you doing?
Why?
Yeah.
But Rachel takes Jamie back to bed and calls Sunday along with them. After opening her bedroom door for her, Rachel holds Jamie's hands, telling her to sleep tight and promising her French toast for breakfast in the morning. She takes Sunday with her as she closes the door for Jamie. The curtains flow in the breeze from Jamie's opened window, the storm still raging outside. She closes it and heads to her closet, finding a small green shoebox. In the box, she finds a production still of her mother, Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. It was clearly
a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, seriously, it's like nobody was there to take this. I saw this happen. But Jamie begins to cry as thunder rumbles overhead. And of course, I meant to mention in the original screenplay, this character was named Brittany,
Okay.
but they changed it to Jamie as an homage.
I like that.
Yeah.
But Jamie closes her closet, and as she walks over to her bed, lightning illuminates her room for a moment, revealing Michael Myers in his blue coveralls and white mask in the reflection of her mirror.
This is when I was like, did you have some work done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was this?
That's not Michael Myers. That's Matthew Myers. That's
That's not Michael.
yeah.
He is getting revenge for his brother.
Yeah.
I think, and again, this is very nitpicky because when we're thinking about, first of all, she should have no idea what he looks like or anything like that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we're talking about the way that we've seen Michael Myers,
Yeah.
he should look exactly like
Yeah.
the first film.
Well, because even if she has an idea based on like what the kids are saying, because he's still talked about in Haddonfield.
Yeah.
So certainly this is not what anyone saw or what he would look like to anyone.
No, why is he wearing shoulder pads?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's all the kids talk about. They're like, there's a white mask and his shoulders were fucking weird, dude. Like I think he was wearing padding underneath that
Right,
thing.
it's like, that was Brock Lesnar? I don't know.
I don't remember that. The Beast incarnate himself?
Like, what the fuck?
I saw an interview with Ken Horn, who was a makeup technician,
Okay.
who kind of he at least seemed to, from these interviews, be responsible for the mask in this film.
All right.
He apparently used to work for Don Post Studios, who made the Shatner mask that Tommy Lee Wallace crafted into the Michael Myers mask.
Okay.
But whenever he was working on this production, he ordered 6 masks from Don Post Studios, asking them to be in the Shatner mold that the original was based on.
Yeah.
What they sent them was 6 pink-skinned masks with white hair.
What?
And they were Shatner's face, but I don't know what mix-up happened. They're like, troll? Got it. Yes, we'll send you a troll mask. I don't understand. I don't know what happened, but he had to repaint the masks, of course.
Yeah.
And then he had to change the hair from blonde to brown.
No.
So is that why he's blonde later?
Because they forgot one.
No.
And then they...
Not they forgot one.
I'll talk about it later. I'll talk about it later. But there is a major fuck up.
Clear as day.
It is. But the thing is that they redid these masks to look like Michael Myers.
Okay.
But whenever they cut the eye holes, whenever they did all this stuff, there's so much layering of the paint that you kind of just...
It's lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look anywhere near as good as the mask that Tommy Lee Wallace made. And to learn that they were basically based off of the same Shatner mask, it's hard to even tell.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
There was also another story because Ken Horn was apparently fired during production.
Really?
Yeah, he had talked about it, I guess. One of the producers came up to him whenever they were filming one of the scenes, and they were like, Michael's eyes need to be larger. And he's like, well, I can't do that right now.
While they were filming the scene.
Yeah, he goes, I can't do that right now. He goes, if I do that, he's like, one of 2 things will happen. We need to take a break for hours for the glue to dry, or I'm going to put this mask on his face and he's going to pass out and die. He said that to the producer. And so the producer's
You're
like,
fired?
Get him out of here. And so,
Safety?
yeah, get him out.
Oh
But the thing is that one of the other producers was very in favor of Ken Horn working on this film.
Okay.
And so he kind of gave that other producer an ultimatum. And so within 30 minutes, Ken Horn was rehired.
All right.
But it's like, good Lord.
That's absurd.
Wow.
And that is one thing that is kind of false advertising when it comes to the poster for Halloween 4. Because that is clearly the classic mask on the poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we...
Like, who the fuck is that?
Who's that guy? Yeah.
Is he going to lead us to Michael?
Yeah. And who might you be?
But Jamie kneels at the side of her bed, reciting, "Now I lay me down to sleep," and then asking God to bless her foster parents, Rachel, Sunday, herself, and her parents in heaven. But just as she says, "Amen," her closet door slowly creaks open on its own. She bravely walks over to it and finds one of her dolls on the floor. She puts it back in its right place, but hears something move behind her when she turns to walk out of the closet. She just closes the door, though, but before she can climb back into bed, the door opens again.
I also had in my notes that she is brave as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Because even at my big age, you're not going
No.
to catch me doing this shit.
No, we're sleeping in the kitchen or something.
The living room's not even
Yeah, it's too close to my room, dude. But she turns to look at the door, and out of nowhere, a hand reaches from beneath her bed and grabs her leg. She falls to the ground as the hand tries to pull her underneath, but she's able to get away and rush for the bedroom door. The figure rises, and in a flash of lightning, we see, of course, that it's Michael Myers. He stands, holding his knife and beginning to advance on her. Jamie pounds on her bedroom door, screaming for help, but when the door finally opens, Michael stands there, raising his knife above his head, a beam of light and smoke all around him. I like that visual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I was like, I don't think this is happening.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because at this point, I was under the impression that he was really out there with the ambulance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when he grabbed her from under the bed, I was like, oh, fuck, we're like getting right into
Yeah.
it. And then he was at the door and I'm like, now hold on. maybe we're not.
But Rachel hears Jamie's screams and runs in slow motion to her aid, as do Richard and Darlene Carruthers, her foster parents, played by Jeff Olson and Karen Alston. The family finds Jamie on the floor of her closet, clutching her green shoebox and sobbing. Darlene cradles Jamie, soothing her and calming her from a bad dream, before she's scooped up by Richard, who promises her that she's gonna be fine.
So this is when I was like, does she know him to dream about him?
Yes, I thought the same.
But then
Yeah.
I'm like I said earlier, I guess everyone in Haddonfield knows who he is.
Yeah, I put in my notes, I said she didn't get the mask right, but neither did the production, so it's fine.
Who are we
It's
to
all
hold
right.
her accountable?
Yeah.
But she's 7, right? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Why are you telling and showing your 7-year-old what Michael Myers looks like, or stories, or...
Well, as we'll learn later, there's some little assholes at school that are probably...
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
she doesn't necessarily know it from home.
Right.
And she did have 7 years or 6 years with her mom. So
Okay.
maybe Lori told her.
I don't think Lori would even talk about
She's
it.
like, no,
Yeah,
she's going
yeah.
to bed.
Yeah.
Let me show you my new chainsaw.
One thing I did learn, there was an interview with Danielle Harris as a featurette, and she was saying that for this scene where she's crying in the closet, she couldn't get there emotionally. And so she had said that the director closed the closet and just left her in there in the dark, and she kind of found it
Okay.
through her fear of the darkness, and then they opened the door and then they filmed this scene. But Danielle Harris, I think they said that she was 11 and turned 12 on set. So she's still a child.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you can't get there.
I know. That's
But,
why when
yeah,
we were
It's
talking, I was like,
you are so professional.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. But to know, hey, look, I got to get in that headspace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need it. It's like, all right, no, you sure you want to sit in here? I need 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I'll cry.
And she does, like, the screams that she does
Yeah.
are like, they like
yeah.
affect you.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
They had a Capri Sun waiting for her.
They better have. But the next day, the camera settles in on a suburban neighborhood, children rushing down the sidewalk in costumes, and a man raking fallen leaves on his front yard. As a school bus travels down the street, we get text on screen reading, Haddonfield, Illinois, October 31st, 1988. Halloween.
We know. It made me laugh because it's a pause and it's like, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
In all fairness, I if I recall, they did this in the first film as well.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It felt like they sold it more, like the drama of it.
Yeah.
Here it felt like redundant.
Yeah, we know.
But at the Carruthers house, Darlene cracks an egg into a frying pan, and Richard somehow dips his tie into his cup of coffee. As soon as he does, he just goes, Darlene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that her fault?
I don't know.
You did that.
She didn't grab his tie. And
No, yeah.
That-
And it was an accident.
Yeah.
I was immediately annoyed.
Yeah.
But Darlene directs him to a clean tie in the laundry room. The phone rings, adding to the hustle and bustle of the morning, and Darlene answers it, talking to a Mrs. Pierce. Rachel grabs a bagel for breakfast, which draws the ire of her mother, who tells her to grab something more substantial. Rachel reminds her mom that she's on a diet, and she asks if she would rather have, quote, an oinker for a daughter.
Yeah, you gotta love the casual fat phobia.
I was
of
like,
the 80s and
Jesus
90s.
Christ.
And early 2000s. Well, just fat
Yeah.
phobia in
Yeah.
general.
No, it's still going on.
It doesn't stop.
But Darlene apologizes to her, which was wild.
She's like, you're right, I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, that's crazy.
What the fuck? Yeah, my jaw dropped.
But she gets bad news from Mrs. Pierce on the phone. Mrs. Pierce's daughter broke her ankle last night and won't be able to babysit for Jamie tonight. I laughed because this is how selfish Darlene is. She literally goes, so Susan can't bring her crutches? Or I was like, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
She broke her ankle.
Not how is she?
Yeah, no. She's like, so she can't babysit on crutches?
You know
or...
that clip of Speed Racer where he's like, well, stop crying. You have a lot of work to do.
It's like, good Lord.
Yeah.
How about a little compassion?
Is she all right?
Something.
No.
She can't like roll to her house.
Yeah, good Lord. But getting off the phone, Darlene tells Rachel that she'll have to watch Jamie tonight. But Rachel says that she can't because she has a date with some guy called Brady, which is very important. Darlene counters that tonight is very important to her and her father, too. Rachel, clearly losing this battle, asks what she's going to tell Brady, and Darlene tells her that it's not the end of the world. Rachel says that it actually is. She thinks Brady was going to make a commitment tonight, and now her future relationship, her engagement, her marriage, her children, and Darlene's grandchildren are going to disappear because she has to babysit.
Rachel, shut up.
I know.
Sorry.
I was like, we just said we loved this character.
Yeah.
She starts out pretty rocky.
She gets where she needs to get.
Yeah.
But this is, and then when you meet Brady, you're like, bitch,
Yeah.
really? All right.
It's just a little cup of water in the face. Calm down.
Wake
Yeah,
up.
Chill out.
But Jamie, of course, arrives in the kitchen to hear the tail end of this diatribe. She apologizes to Rachel for ruining everything, telling her that if she wasn't here, Rachel could go out like she planned to. After she leaves, Rachel crumbles in embarrassment.
She should.
Mm-hmm.
This child's self-worth is hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
She was up all night with grief, with nightmares. Maybe be a little mindful of what we're yelling
Yeah.
at the breakfast table while everybody's running around.
And you know she has school. You know she's up.
Yes!
Yeah.
This poor child.
But Richard, who, in a really dick move, he goes, good job, Rachel.
It's like, damn,
Don't you have a
Dad.
tie to change?
Yeah. Shut your bitch ass up. Go over there.
But he,
I feel bad enough.
yeah. You're just piling on, just shaking your head.
I can't fucking believe you, Rachel.
But he tells his daughter that Jamie needs all the love that they can give her right now, and all she can do is think about herself. It's like, you guys didn't plan ahead.
Yeah.
You guys needed a babysitter.
I was going to say, yeah, Rachel's only thinking about herself, but Darlene's like, so how bad's the break?
Yeah. And you're climbing up my ass?
I learned it from watching you.
But Rachel heads to Jamie's room, where she's sitting on her bed with Sunday and playing with the doll. Rachel apologizes to Jamie, saying that she can just go out with her boyfriend tomorrow and it's no big deal. Jamie still blames herself for this change in plans, but Rachel promises that she has an even better plan for them. They're going to go trick-or-treating. Jamie doesn't want to go, but Rachel tells her that it's Halloween and asks if she wants to dress up in a scary costume and get candy. Jamie is unmoved, so Rachel suggests that after school, she can pick Jamie up and they can go get ice cream together. Jamie's mood changes as long as they can have double scoops.
Better be double scoop.
It has
that
to be.
bullshit you were saying.
Who orders a single scoop?
Yeah.
This was cute, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Rachel.
Mhm.
Okay.
Rachel agrees to the double scoops, and they head into the kitchen to have breakfast. But in the long, pallid halls of Ridgemont Federal Sanatorium, we follow Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance.
The man of the hour.
Yeah.
Yes. So glad to see him back, of course. I did read an interview in Fangoria. They asked him why he did this film. And he said, quote, I was free. They asked me. The money was good. And it was hard to do this film without me.
Yeah. Well, all right.
All right.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
But it turns out that he really liked the script and he liked where they took Loomis as a character and Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And he had said, one interview, he said, I will gladly play this character again if the story continues to be this good. He ended up playing Loomis twice more.
All right.
Mustafa Akkad said on set that he joked around that he would have to pull the plug at Halloween 22. But he was really, really into this, and he loved playing Samuel Loomis.
He's excellent.
Yeah.
But in his signature coat, and with his face scarred from burns, He makes his way to Dr. Hoffman's office, busting in and asking why he wasn't informed.
The way that he flung that door open.
He's on a mission.
Yeah.
Hoffman plays coy, asking what he wasn't informed about, but Loomis tells him that he let them take it out of here. It.
Yeah.
Hoffman tells Loomis to spare him the speech that he's heard for a decade, telling him that the fact is that Michael Myers was a federal patient and a federal prisoner, subject to federal law. Loomis says that Michael isn't any ordinary prisoner. He is evil on 2 legs. Now, here's the thing. Donald Pleasance could take chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad.
Yeah.
Because that line's not great.
No.
I've heard much better from Samuel Loomis, but evil on 2 legs is not great.
But out of his mouth.
But it does.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, though, I don't understand why we're still annoyed with him.
No.
I understand that sometimes his method of delivery is a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But where is the lie? He was right about everything that he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this is a complete story from 1 to 2 to 4, he's been right.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there.
And
Yeah.
he's been there. So the fact that, and again, I knew that transport, if he knew about it, he would have been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ranting with his dramatics,
Mm-hmm.
So you're a liar. And again, I just don't understand why he's like, oh my God, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
When you were right.
How did you get this reputation?
Yeah.
You can now, if you say now, it's a lot to deal with Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
I can agree. I can understand.
No arguments there.
No,
Yeah.
as a colleague, I'm sure it is. But to make it like he's just pulling this out of thin air,
yeah.
even his wild claim in Halloween 2, and he's like, he's not human. He's not human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw him explode, and he's fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty to say about Sam Loomis.
Well, we seen him get shot six times.
6 times. So, say what you will, but he has been right 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at this line about Michael being evil on 2 legs, Hoffman just scoffs, saying that his attempts at explanation are useless. Loomis asks Hoffman if he knows what today is. He tells him that every day he looks at himself in the mirror, and every day he remembers.
Him saying that, I'm like, do we always have to do these transports in October? Like,
Yeah, like,
why does this keep happening?
that's poor planning, dude. But he asks Hoffman to look at him, the burns on his face and his hands, telling him that he doesn't want anyone to have to live through that night again. Hoffman just sighs, reiterating a point he claims he's told Loomis before, that Loomis needs mental help. Again, after everything that we've experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But just then, the phone rings on Hoffman's desk and he answers it. Tense music rises as a sobering look registers on Hoffman's face. It is really funny because you don't hear the full conversation,
Yeah.
but you hear very muffled, Michael Myers.
Yeah.
and
Loomis
you
is like,
know.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he say?
That's all Loomis needed. But Loomis does already know before Hoffman confirms. Apparently, there was an accident off of Mill Creek.
No. Eat shit accident. You
Yeah.
know what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly.
you know.
Loomis just storms out before Hoffman can even finish, though. But we cut to Loomis and Hoffman arriving on the scene of the accident, just off of a bridge.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I guess he caught up with them. 'Cause
Yeah.
Loomis was getting the fuck out.
Yeah. Policemen and crime scene personnel tape off the area as smoke emanates from a crash site. The doctors get out of the car, Loomis pointing towards the wreckage with his cane, asking if that's it. Trooper number 3, played by Robert Condor, says that the ambulance probably lost the road in the storm and crashed into the embankment. He says it happens. Loomis asks if he actually believes that, and Hoffman doesn't understand why he shouldn't. But Loomis learns that the ambulance was carrying 4 people plus Michael Myers, but they don't know how many bodies have been found because the corpses are too mangled to tell.
Too mangled to tell the number of bodies.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That
Yeah.
is astounding.
And I mean, in all honesty, we really cut away. We don't know what Michael did in there.
Yeah. Well, and when we
Yeah.
peek inside,
Yeah.
it looks.
He was like
I
making
mean,
a stew.
He had a blast. Yeah.
But Loomis wades into the water against Hoffman's protests, reaching the back of the overturned ambulance. When he looks inside, he sees carnage, blood spattered all over a mess of scattered equipment, and though they aren't shown, I'd assume at least a body or two.
You would think, yes.
Loomis just announces, "He's gone. He was here, but he's gone." Hoffman asks if there were any other bodies, and the trooper says that he isn't sure, but Loomis says that they won't find any other bodies, and they won't find Michael Myers. He's done all this, and now he's escaped. Hoffman disagrees, saying that Michael could have been thrown from the ambulance, and the trooper agrees.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
The one thing we do know about Michael is that he escapes really well.
Yeah.
Like, he's great at it. So, I don't know. But Hoffman pleads with Loomis to give the troopers a chance to search the area, saying that even if Michael is still alive, his muscles would be completely useless after such trauma. Loomis tells Hoffman that he's talking about Michael as if he were a human being. He says that part of Michael died years ago. Loomis walks back up the embankment, telling Hoffman that he's headed to Haddonfield. He says it's a 4-hour drive and he can be reached through the local police. He tells Hoffman that if they don't find Michael in 4 hours, he's sure that he will.
I love that, knowing that he is chasing pure evil.
Yeah.
He is never afraid to roll up his sleeves and just fucking get after it.
Yeah. I guess I got to do this.
I'll go myself. Yeah. I love that.
But we cut to Penny's gas station, which I assume is on the way to Haddonfield.
Yeah.
We see an uncredited mechanic working under a car, calling out to who he believes is his coworker for a tool he needs. As we watch a pair of feet walk by very slowly, he slides out from under the car and he finds Michael Myers, dressed in his hospital whites and his face still bandaged, wielding a metal rod. Before the mechanic can react, Michael impales him with it.
He knows what he likes to wear.
He does. I did laugh because I heard, again, with all these changes that they told him to make it more gory, for, I guess, to satisfy late 80s audiences.
Yeah.
They rigged up an apparatus for Michael to jam this metal rod down this mechanic's throat.
Jeez.
And then Mustafa Akkad was like, that's too much. That is too
We've
much.
swung too far.
Yeah. So obviously it's not in the film. But on the road, we see Loomis switch on his turn signal and pull off the road right into the parking lot of Penny's gas station.
I was like, I love that they're both on the same route.
Yeah. There's the only way to get to Haddonfield.
We got to get to Haddonfield.
But he calls out for service, and when no one responds, he begins fueling up his vehicle, unaware that someone is watching him from the garage in skulking POV shots. After a moment, with his car filling up, Loomis walks into the gas station, calling out for any employees within earshot. He makes his way around vehicles and equipment, but out of nowhere, the mechanic's corpse comes down from above, hung awkwardly by chains around his body and in his mouth.
I was like, Michael, you did not need to do all that.
No.
What was that for?
Just for fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Halloween decoration.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Getting in the spirit.
Yeah, he's full of pranks. He's full of...
He is.
Yeah.
We forget he's got the mind of a child in there, kind of.
Yeah.
But Loomis rushes out of the garage and into the adjoining restaurant. He spots a telephone behind the bar and heads over to use it, but on the floor, he finds dead Penny's gas station waitress, played by Kelly Lookinland. I saw that she was actually the production secretary for the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so got a small cameo.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of went down a rabbit hole because, like you said, she was the production secretary.
Mm-hmm.
She was married to a production assistant on this film.
Oh.
And then that production assistant went on to be, he did photography for Halloween 5. And then she was the script supervisor for the Stand miniseries.
Really?
And that production assistant was the second assistant camera on the Stand miniseries. So if that isn't interesting enough, that guy that she's married to that did all this shit with her is the guy that played Bobby Brady in the Brady Bunch.
What?
What the fuck?
I was like, what the hell?
That's so random.
Isn't it? Mike Lookinland.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I don't know if anybody will care, but I was like,
That's fascinating.
that's so random.
But it's info.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Stan miniseries, I have more to say about that later on.
Oh.
All right.
All right. But after he discovers her body, all he can mutter is God in heaven. And upon closer inspection, he sees that the phone has been destroyed. He finds another phone on the adjacent wall next to a photo of Abraham Lincoln for some reason. But he discovers that the cord has been cut. This seems really odd for Michael to do.
Yeah.
My theory is that this place was already fucked up before. Before Michael came here. Because it just seems there's no reason for him to destroy these phones.
Right? Somebody cut the phone line. But it looks like it's been that way for years.
There's dust on the
Covered in
inside.
dust.
Inside. But as Loomis turns around, his eyes are focused on something off in the distance. He speaks lowly. Michael? The camera pushes through the door across the room, finding Michael wearing the mechanic's outfit, his head still wrapped in bandages. This camera movement
Yeah.
and that shot.
I was going to say the shot is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, this is Morga playing Michael Myers. And so his frame, it feels Michael.
Yeah.
It does.
But now holding his gun, Loomis creeps closer, shrinking the distance between them and asking him, why now? He tells him that he waited 10 years. Loomis says that he knew this day would come, and he pleads with Michael not to go to Haddonfield. He offers himself, telling Michael that if he wants another victim, to just take him and leave those people in peace. He asks him sincerely, please, Michael. Of course, he gets no response, and he just tells Michael, God damn you, before firing his gun at absolutely nothing. Michael's gone.
I was like, was this a fantasy?
Thank
but
you.
then it wasn't, right?
No. All of this is happening.
Was he even there? I was like, what were you shooting at?
So this is the thing. This is where the first stuntman got fired. Is apparently his exit out of the room, he knocked over a bunch of plates. And the way that he did it, I guess one of the producers got annoyed. And he said Michael wouldn't move like that. And then he got fired.
If it was an accident and he tripped, the whole fucking soundstage fell apart. It's like, oh,
Like,
fuck.
get out. Get your things.
He's like, I didn't do it. But the Halloween theme plays as Loomis whips toward a window, scanning the area for Michael before stepping outside.
I was expecting him to step out and for Michael to be driving away in his car.
Yeah. He's like, again? I really did think so. I was surprised to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Too much, one might say. But Loomis calls for Michael outside, and suddenly, a red truck bursts through the doors of the garage. Loomis fires at Michael, but Michael collides with the gas pumps on his way towards the road, causing an explosion which catches Loomis's car ablaze and sends him diving behind trash cans. The fire bursts electrical wires, and Loomis can only watch as Michael drives away towards Haddonfield.
Did he like flip him off while he passed by?
Another fire. It really just is insult to injury.
Yeah.
And I think that all of this could have been conveyed the way that Loomis is kind of stranded without a vehicle. It all could have worked if Michael just stole his car.
It did.
Yeah.
Like we didn't
Yeah.
need to do
And
all of this.
I feel like that would have been a nice homage.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was kind of surprising. And he's like, I'm going to steal this big red truck.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
It feels like that would have been better for a character that spoke.
Yeah.
Maybe Chucky driving away laughing, or Freddy like, bitch, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's anything.
I think what's funny to me is he's like, I know if I hit these, it's going to explode.
yeah.
And that'll buy me some time.
Right, I can take out his car at the same time.
Yeah. It's
ridiculous.
Just steal the car.
Yeah.
But at the elementary school, Jamie exits her classroom as the bell rings, but she's immediately hounded by Kyle, played by Jordan Bradley, Boy, played by Richie Kumba, and Girl, played by Stephanie Dees. Great names.
They put a lot of thought into those credits.
But they taunt Jamie, asking her where her costume is, but she tells them that she doesn't need one. Kyle says that's because every day is Halloween at Jamie's house because her uncle is the boogeyman. They all chant that her uncle is the boogeyman, but they stop when Girl asks Jamie why her mom didn't make her a costume. Boy answers, how could she? her mommy's dead.
This is so fucking beyond. I could not believe what these kids were saying.
I know kids can be cruel, but I feel like this is too on the nose.
Yeah, no, fuck all these kids. Your mom's dead? That's not a taunt.
That's not
It's not.
anything.
That's
just mean.
Wild.
Yeah.
It just went too far. Like the whole your face is a mask or whatever. Like it's okay, these kids are assholes.
Yeah.
But that escalated to a point of where I'm like, where are your teachers?
Yeah, because
like nobody is standing out in the hallway. No, like this is so cartoonishly mean.
It is.
and beyond.
I mean, I think we've all been insulted on Halloween that our face are masks. That our face could be masked and sold.
Typical.
Mass market. But this is just too far. It's
It's unbelievable.
That was my same note. Was why is nobody helping her?
I don't
Clearly,
know.
she's being bullied.
They're terrorizing her.
And I'll be completely honest. Your uncle's the boogeyman. Fuck that. We're friends, right?
That's
You know what
true.
I mean?
Yeah.
Oh no,
No.
that's fine. Yeah.
I'm not gonna make an enemy out of you. And
no.
it was funny that they got the family tree right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, it was her mother's brother, so
Yeah.
yes.
That's her uncle. Your uncle's a boogeyman.
And we'll get her tomorrow.
And what they should have done was given these kids the masks from Halloween 3.
That would have been great.
That would have
That's
been
what they
really.
shoulda done.
That would have been really cool.
But there, Mustafa Akkad's like, fuck no.
Yeah, it's like no.
and then they're all like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they wither to the ground." And bugs and snakes come out.
Yeah. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Jamie just steps over him.
But Kyle says that Jamie's mommy is a mummy, and they all gather around chanting that Jamie is an orphan.
Dude,
Again,
What the fuck?
it seems too targeted. Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just too much.
you can have this dynamic. Even the boogeyman thing, it is hilarious that they're like, it's your uncle by your mother's side, or like whatever. That's hilarious, but come on.
Yeah.
This is too much.
Yeah.
But Jamie runs away from the crowd of costumed children in slow motion, alternating chants and repeating dialogue playing in her mind. In sobs, Jamie gets away from the school, putting her back to a tree and telling herself that she's okay.
This was heartbreaking.
When she was calming herself,
Yes, I was like
Yeah.
not self-soothing. Again, this performance, I'm just like,
yeah,
I just want to protect you. Like, this is heartbreaking.
it is. Okay, so here's the point where I tell you about the line in the script that was a little too on the nose
All right.
and would have really, now I'm not giving away anything,
Yeah.
but I will say that one of the kids in the script, I believe it's Kyle,
The only,
the only one with the
the
name,
only one with the name.
he tells Jamie, go live with your boogeyman uncle. When you grow up, you can be just like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, let's cut that.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Let's not do that. It's like, we could take that one line out.
Yeah,
It's
just
like,
let's.
yeah,
No.
That hurt my head. That's fucking hilarious.
But just then, a car pulls up with Rachel riding passenger. She opens the door and Jamie rushes inside. Lindsay, the driver and Rachel's friend played by Leslie L. Rowland, pulls away once everyone is inside.
Lindsay?
So, from a lot of things I've read, there are conflicting things, but this, according to a lot of sources, is supposed to be Lindsay Wallace from Halloween 1978,
Oh, okay.
which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would have liked more.
Yeah.
I was expecting more because, like, I was like, I like her style.
Yeah.
She's got a presence when they're in the car, and then you literally never see her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. And especially considering, for me anyway, if we're bringing things a little full circle closer to home with the family ties, she was being babysat by
Yeah.
Jamie's mother
Yeah.
the night that Michael came home.
Yes.
So let's talk.
Yeah.
You know, let's have a moment. But Rachel says that they're going to go for ice cream now, like she promised. But Jamie says that she wants to go trick-or-treating like the other kids. Lindsay says that Discount Mart is having a sale on Halloween costumes today, but Rachel says that they can't go because Brady will be working there until 6. Lindsay knows this and says that Rachel should just talk to him, but Rachel is afraid of looking pushy or coming on too strong or looking desperate. Lindsay reassures her on all the other counts, but she tells her to face it. She is desperate.
This did kind of feel like the car ride from the first one.
Yeah.
But also, I blame those magazines that are like men like women that shut the fuck up or whatever. Like that's what this felt like.
Yeah.
I can't even shop in the store while he's working or else I'm gonna look too needy. That's a lot.
I think everyone is different, man. I don't think
yeah.
you know?
I mean, I wouldn't mind if I'm working and you go in there just to kind of say hi or to kind of.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, it's cool.
not-
I get to see you.
It's not even that. She's in there for a reason. And she's
Yeah.
like, well, I can't shop there ever
Yeah.
again.
No, but I'm saying like if you're going to if you're going to shop,
Yeah.
you're getting what you need, and I get to see you for a second.
Yeah. But
No.
I have thoughts
Yeah,
about
we have-
Brady.
Yeah.
True. But Lindsay reassures her, saying that they're all just going to go in and buy a costume for Jamie. It's totally legit. But Rachel still isn't sure. But they let Jamie decide if they're going to go to Discount Mart or the Dairy Queen. Jamie tells them Discount Mart, but Dairy Queen after.
Naturally.
Yeah.
But at the Discount Mart, Brady, played by Sasha Jensen, watches his friend Wade, played by Richard Stay, try on sunglasses. Through a mirror, Wade eyes Kelly Meeker, Brady's coworker, played by Kathleen Kinmont.
I was going to say try on sunglasses
Yeah.
with heavy quotes.
Yeah, it's like a secret agent. He's working.
Yes.
I will say I did learn on a featurette that Sasha Jensen and Kathleen Kinmont went to high school together.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And so I assumed that they were both part of the Salt Lake City casting.
All right.
But Brady tells Wade, which makes things very interesting later on, actually.
Yeah.
But Brady tells Wade to make a move. But Wade says that he's waiting for the right moment. Tommy Doyle, played by Danny Ray, approaches the counter and makes a $10 bet with Brady that Wade won't go talk to Kelly.
Again, though, this is it.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're telling me. And then we go literally from Lindsay to Tommy.
And then it's like, no, we're not here for them. Yeah. This isn't about them.
I want to follow them more.
Yeah.
No offense, but
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about Brady. And I remain not giving a shit about
Yeah.
Brady.
Period, though.
But in a bit of expositional screenwriting, Tommy says, don't forget, she's Sheriff Meeker's daughter. It's like, we all live in this town, Tommy.
Yeah.
Literally.
But Wade adds to the $10 with a few singles of his own, saying that Sheriff Meeker doesn't scare him. He approaches Kelly, who's just trying to work.
Yes.
He clears his throat to get her attention, but Kelly just turns around, telling him, fuck off, Wade. His friends laugh at his misfortune.
Well,
What do you expect?
He was already being creepy
Yeah.
before he even went over there.
But outside, Lindsay drops Rachel and Jamie off at the Discount Mart and disappears from the film forever. Brady, sorry, she does, she's gone.
She does.
Yeah.
Brady is happy to see Rachel when she steps inside, but he's confused to see her here when he's supposed to pick her up tonight. But she tells him that Jamie is here to find a Halloween costume, and so Brady directs Jamie to where the costumes are, and they send this little child alone
Yep.
to go look for a costume.
Again, his reaction to seeing her, like she's just supposed to sit on the couch staring into space until he rings her doorbell at 6. It's just like,
You go places?
yeah. It's just so weird. She's a human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not an NPC waiting to be fucking press X and then she comes to life. That's not.
And going costume shopping with kids, man, you've got to stay with them.
Yes.
Because they want to look at everything.
Yeah.
And, oh, what is this? Oh, look at that mask. Oh, let me. It's like, all right, hold on.
She's like, you're free,
Yeah.
Jamie.
The way
Meet me
that-
at the house.
The way that you were talking, I thought you were going to say, you got to stay with them because they steal.
Yeah. Oh, no.
They'll
I
take
was like,
everything.
oh my God. But meanwhile, Rachel breaks the bad news to Brady about their date tonight. In the aisle, Jamie surveys the masks, walking right past one that she may or may not have had a nightmare about last night.
Yes.
But she cycles through the costumes on the rack, finding a clown costume that is very reminiscent of another clown costume that we've seen before.
Yeah, and if you're confused, don't worry because they're going to show us in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that it's Halloween, and
Yeah.
there is a huge selection.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No silver shamrock.
No,
No.
but
They make do.
yeah.
But Jamie calls out to Rachel to take a look at the costume, but she's too busy necking with the shop boy.
Not the shop boy. I was like, sir, you're on the clock.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid to make out. This is sweet.
This is great.
But Rachel pulls away, telling him that she has to watch Jamie tonight. Brady is angry that she didn't tell him sooner, even though she just found out about it this morning. Kelly watches this tantrum, and Brady calms down for a second, asking if he can come over after Jamie goes to sleep. Rachel says that her parents will be home early tonight, and you can actually see Brady's soul leave his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already I'm like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, so?
Yeah.
Rachel is unsure, and Brady is absolutely dejected, and he just says that he'll call her later. Jamie holds up her costume in a mirror, but her reflection transforms to young Michael Myers, played by Eric Preston, wearing the exact same costume.
And again, I know this is probably nitpicky, but we didn't need to see that. We could have gotten there on our own.
Yeah. And isn't it enough that it's interesting that she's drawn to this costume?
Yeah.
And then we can just leave it there.
Yes.
Instead, it's like, this is the costume I wear.
Remember?
Yeah, when the camera raised above me and they were like, Michael. It was me. 1963.
And that leads me to think, though, is she seeing this because she's seen him earlier at the beginning?
And it did seem like she reacted to something.
Yeah.
But
and how do
then
you
there's
know?
something that she has that we see later that I don't know why or how she has.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
maybe she is reacting.
Okay, here's the thing is I do think that she is seeing these things. She saw young Michael in the mirror.
Yeah.
But then there is a shot at the end of the scene that you're like, oh, I guess this is just...
Yeah.
Did a little boy roam in here? Or what?
Rome.
What's going on with the same exact costume? But she backs right into a blue mechanic suit, watching as the adult Michael Myers pulls his signature white mask over his face. Jamie screams in terror, backing into the mirror and shattering it, which gets the attention of Rachel, who rushes over to check on her.
That mirror was ready to shatter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She barely touched it. But it is.
She's like, our breakaway glass!
Yeah,
Oh, no.
damn it. But it is funny that he's wearing exactly what he wore when he rampaged through here 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just like, I need a fucking mask.
Like, this is what I do.
Brazen.
Yeah.
All right. And it is funny, again, it is the nitpicky thing of her dream being the exact thing that...
Yeah.
And that always bothers me, like when they show scenes that are they're like premonitions now,
Yeah.
but then they're the exact camera angles from later and shit. Like, this is kind of a real pet peeve
Yeah.
for me.
It's like in Until Dawn in the Quarry where you get like those premonitions and it's exactly it's the same camera angle and everything.
Couldn't film 2 takes?
No.
Yeah.
Make it different enough?
No.
It would have been cool if this idea of the boogeyman had been built up even scarier.
Yeah.
And that the Michael that she saw in her nightmare is fucking like a monster.
Yeah.
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 And then we see the real thing, and it's, the way that stories kind of take on a life of their own.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Too cerebral.
I guess.
Yeah.
But Rachel asks Jamie what happened, and Jamie just tells her that it was the Nightmare Man. He's come to get her.
You've never called him that before.
Yeah.
And nobody else has either.
Like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah. You mean the boogeyman?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what they were telling you earlier.
Did you hit your
Remember?
head on the mirror?
Yeah.
Jamie's a little woozy. We need to take her home.
Should probably go to urgent care real quick.
But as Kelly, Wade, Brady, and Tommy come over to check on her too, Rachel says that she probably just saw a mask that scared her, but that she'll just take her home and she'll be fine.
No, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I would be so pissed off. I'd be like, it was a blue mechanic suit.
Yeah. And if you think I'm that sensitive, why did you let me go over to that aisle by myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is bullshit.
I think the most surprising thing,
Trumped up charges.
the most surprising thing about this ordeal is that they still buy the costume.
Yeah. They do.
Like, I would think that she's like, no trick-or-treating after what
Yeah.
you've experienced today. The Nightmare Man, you've said? No.
Yeah.
No.
We're staying in
Yeah,
tonight.
we're going home. We're watching John Carpenter's The Thing. But in the reflection of the shattered glass, we see the shape donning his white mask step out of the frame. So
he
that's
was
real.
there. Yeah. No, he came to get his mask.
Yeah.
A white mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to get a mask.
Yeah.
But so what we're meant to believe is that, well, you know what? Maybe this is the moment of Lori stopping at the Myers house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
having this small
The
moment.
contact. Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, maybe. But on the side of the road towards Haddonfield, Loomis shambles, holding his arm out in an attempt to hitchhike. Several cars pass him by, but a convertible filled with cheerleaders and jocks finally stops for him. They urge him to get in, and as soon as he gets close to the car, they speed away, the tires kicking up dirt in his face.
I hate all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that they're going to Haddonfield, and I hope they get chopped up tonight.
Tonight.
How could you do that?
On the cool, I was like, oh, they're going to help him. I was like, at least he got a fucking ride. Then they take off, and I was like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's uncalled
I hope
for.
y'all
Yeah.
pad the body count later.
Yeah.
Because that I was so angry.
You know, honestly, it would have been kind of cool if later on Loomis finds the convertible deserted in Haddonfield
Oh, yeah.
or something, like as a sign of Michael's rampage through the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he made a stew of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that's covered in blood.
Yeah.
That would have been, yes. Loomis is left in the dust, but we see an old truck pull up behind him. Reverend Jackson P. Sayer, played by Carmen Philby, beckons him in, telling him to hurry because he doesn't have until Judgment Day. Like, I'll take the next car, thanks.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances out here.
I know that they say that beggars can't be choosers, but I'm choosing no.
Yeah.
That's right, I'm sorry. But it's the old man from The Wedding Singer.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
gonna
so
say,
excited.
This is another character actor.
Yeah.
This dude's great. He was in Wayne's World, and he did a little bit of work on The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
No shit.
With Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
But once inside the car, Sayer pulls away, sneezing from all the dust, and immediately reaching out his hand, introducing himself to Loomis. His car filled with religious iconography and stickers, he tells Loomis that he's headed to God's country when asked. Loomis shakes his hand and tells him that he's headed to Haddonfield. Sayer asks if he had car trouble, and Loomis just replies, sort of.
Yeah.
Sayer looks him over and he asks, "You're hunting it, ain't ya?" Loomis doesn't answer, but Sayer says that Loomis is hunting it just like he is. Loomis asks what he's hunting, and Sayer tells him, the apocalypse, the end of the world, Armageddon. He says it's always got a face and a name. And then he takes a swig of some liquor.
Yeah. You know what? I only needed to get right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you
see
for the
that
ride.
just deserted spot in the road? That's where-
That's where I was
That's where I'm
going.
Right there.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. But Sayer says that he's been hunting it for 30 years, give or take, and he's come close a time or two, but he says you can't kill damnation. It doesn't die like a man dies.
Loomis is like, this is how everybody else feels.
Yeah.
I get it now. I get it.
This
I am a
feels-
lot sometimes.
This feels almost like Loomis is staring into his future in a weird
Yeah.
way. He's like, if I keep going down this path,
I really got to get my shit together, dude.
I'm going to be picking up Dusty Psychiatrist in my Michael Myers van or whatever. But Loomis understands, and Sayer calls him a pilgrim, saying that he saw it on his face when he found him in the road. He says he saw it clear his breasts and blue suede shoes. I was like, all right,
This is a character.
it is a character. That maybe doesn't belong in this film.
Because I'm like, if you take this scene out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing changes.
If he just gets to Haddonfield.
Yeah.
But he offers Loomis a drink, and surprisingly, Loomis takes one.
I was very
Well, he was making sense, so he's like, fuck it.
Yeah. He found it's like kinship.
Yeah. Because I'd be like, how about we play the quiet game?
Yeah.
But Sayer begins to loudly sing the hymn, At the River, and Loomis just smiles as the truck continues down the road.
My note here was, again, I feel like this doesn't serve anything,
No.
but it was nice to see him smile because we never get that.
No.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a different look at what Loomis is trying to say, because to him too, it is evil. He's not a man. He is chasing him.
That's fair. It's just a very heavy-handed parallel.
No, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. It is.
It's both things can be true.
yeah. No, yeah.
I think my thing is even down to if we look at 1963, Michael Myers killing his sister.
Yeah.
That's when Loomis becomes a psychiatrist. 1988, that is 30 years, give or take.
Yeah.
So even down to the time he's been doing this.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
All
I didn't
right.
even catch that.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would just like him to be a little less cartoony.
Yeah, it's a
Maybe,
lot. It almost seems like comic relief.
Yeah.
But then you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what was that?
So I do want to talk about the burn scar on Donald Pleasance's face. So they started with one makeup and they filmed a lot of scenes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But according to the featurette that I watched, on one of the days of shooting, Donald Pleasance's girlfriend saw the dailies and she said, "Huh, it looks like there's a fried egg on the side of your face." And Donald Pleasance was like, "It does look like a fried egg."
Yeah.
And so he talked to the director talked to the makeup department, and they changed it. The problem is the editor spliced in reshoots with the prior shooting of the fried egg.
Okay.
Of the So that explains the
Yes.
continuity
Yeah.
issues
Yes.
with the scar.
This scene alone, depending on what part of the conversation, you get a burn, you get a fried egg. You get a burn, you get a fried egg.
Yeah.
It's back and forth.
Okay. I thought I was going crazy for a second. And I was like, that's got to be different.
And it is very
Yeah.
different. But on Halloween night in Haddonfield, children trick-or-treat with their friends and family, and also a few little bastards toilet paper some trees and houses.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the Carruthers get ready to leave for their date. Rachel leads them out, and they leave the number for the restaurant that they'll be at tonight. She opens the door for them, and Richard says that he wants them to have fun tonight, but to make sure that Jamie is in bed by 9:30. From behind a tree across the street, someone watches them from a floating POV shot. After closing the door, Jamie asks if she can put her costume on.
It was interesting to hear them talk about the importance of this meeting.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. Can we go back real quick because he said it's the difference in their vacation being what?
I can't remember some like destination and grandma's house.
Oh, yeah. See,
Yeah.
when I was writing my script, I was like, I think that's Michael Myers watching this right now. And so
Oh shit, he's right there.
yeah, I just focused on that, really.
You're like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
we don't care, really.
it's seemingly
No.
an extremely important meeting that they're
Yeah.
going to.
So that's why they definitely couldn't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why she didn't care that poor girl had broken her ankle.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't stay at my mother's house another summer. Okay, get your ass over here.
But the camera follows Rachel through the house from outside as she sits in a chair and dials up Brady. But she learns that he isn't back home from work yet and tells the person on the other end to tell Brady to drop by around 8.
The message. Oh man, if the person, you had to hope that person was going to pass your message along when you called, because if not, never. Hey man, what happened? I was waiting for you after school. What? Your mom didn't tell you, or your brother? He's like, I told him to tell you. Ah. He's like, we waited for you the whole time. He's like, oh well, nobody
It
told
didn't.
me.
Yeah, I wasn't
nobody
aware.
passed the message.
I was gonna make my usual. Why didn't she just text him?
Of course.
Joke.
Yeah.
That's why we keep a notepad by the phone.
Yes.
Yep. And I gotta say, Rachel's nicer than me because his reaction at the store. I'm not calling Brady. I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh no, come over. No,
But
man.
he had that cool jacket on.
I don't give a fuck.
We can all buy our own jackets.
That's not enough.
But she gets off the phone and calls out to Jamie, who is putting the finishing touches on her costume. As jack-o'-lanterns flicker on the porch, Jamie pulls the front door open and they leave just in time because the shape stalks up the stairs, which would have been really cool to see through the window in the shot before as he heads upstairs.
Yeah.
I don't know why they edited it that
Yeah,
way.
you're right.
Yeah.
Imagine them leaving the house and then we just see him through the window.
Yeah.
That's way cooler. But when he gets upstairs, he finds Jamie's shoebox tossed on the floor for some reason.
Yeah. I was like, she kept this so neat before.
Yeah.
In the closet. It's just on her floor. But we see that all of Laurie's pictures are scattered. He picks one up with his scarred hand, but sets it down when he finds photos of himself as a child in his clown costume somehow, and a picture of Jamie on her father's shoulders, who sadly, since Halloween 2 is in continuity, is not Ben Tramer.
Yeah.
Okay.
How the hell does Jamie have why the hell does Jamie have those pictures of Michael Myers from the night that he killed his sister?
I don't know. And they have him, the way they took this picture, you ever see that picture of Lee Harvey Oswald with the newspaper and the gun? That's kind of how they took this picture of Michael just out in the fucking side of the house. It's like, what is this? What is this? Is he going to kill the president? Is Michael going to murder the president?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, this is bad, dude. This is real bad. It was a magic knife, right?
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
Yes.
From the grassy knoll. I just simply don't understand why she would have this.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I don't know. Because the thing is that it would mean that Lori would have had to have them first.
Yes.
And why the hell would Lori ever have these pictures? If anything, they're going to be in a file that nobody would give to. I know that they had a file. Nurse Chambers had a file for Michael Myers, but I don't think that this Lee Harvey Oswald photo would be in there. So I really don't know.
You think it's a plant?
I think so, yeah. It's a conspiracy to frame this kid. That's why he came back. He's like, I didn't fucking do that.
I got proof it wasn't.
Set the record straight.
But Loomis arrives at the Haddonfield police station, requesting to speak to Sheriff Brackett. I thought this was so funny, dude, because he's like, nothing's changed, I imagine. It's only been a decade, but I'm sure he's still here.
Yeah.
Ask Lee. Lee knows me.
Yeah.
But he learns from a Deputy Pierce, played by Michael Flynn, that Brackett retired in 1981 and moved to Florida. I will say this is a very interesting thing because it's kind of a small town situation because Pierce was the name of the woman that called Darlene.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So this might be her husband.
Huh.
Okay.
So I'm sorry that his daughter broke her leg. Darlene's not, but I am. But Loomis asks who the sheriff is then, and Sheriff Ben Meeker, played by Bo Starr, introduces himself. Loomis tries to introduce himself, but Meeker already knows who he is on reputation alone. To me, the reputation should be, hey, you're the doctor that warned us about that guy.
Correctly.
Who did a massacre here.
Yeah, because that's my note. Why are you mad at Loomis already?
He comes out very rude.
Yeah.
But Meeker asks why he's here, and Loomis tells him and his deputies that Michael Myers has escaped from Ridgemont and he's here in Haddonfield. Meeker says that that's impossible, but Loomis tells him 10 years ago he tried to kill Laurie Strode, and now he wants her daughter. You know, we haven't really talked much about that angle of this story yet. I don't really care for it as far as this idea of Laurie just being dead and gone.
Yeah.
And that just being the story, and then we just follow her daughter that never, it's just...
Well, because at the beginning, I was like, where are you? Because she was like, it's been 11 months or whatever. And then when she's doing her prayer, she's like, and mommy and daddy in heaven. I was like, she's dead?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that they just quietly off screen killed Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
That's appalling.
Well, that's why I asked you, because I was a little confused.
Yeah.
I was like, is this what I'm seeing? I was like, because I want to make sure that I'm understanding what they're trying to tell me here.
Yeah.
And I mean, they aren't going to get Jamie Lee Curtis back.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's another way to do the story then without...
Definitely.
You know.
Killing her?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot.
But Meeker grows concerned, and he asks if Loomis is talking about Jamie Lloyd. Loomis tells him that wherever Jamie is, she's in mortal danger. But doubt returns to Meeker, who says that Michael Myers has been locked up since before Jamie was born. He's never even seen her. But Loomis responds, 6 bodies, Sheriff. That's what I've seen between here and Ridgemont. He says that Michael Myers left a filling station in flames, and now he's returned to Haddonfield to kill Jamie and anyone who gets in his way. Meeker directs Pierce to check in on Loomis's story, and assuming what he's saying is true, he asks Loomis what they can do to avoid a repeat of the horrors of 1978. Loomis suggests they find Jamie and get her somewhere safe, then call the local television stations and tell everyone to get home and lock their doors. Pierce interrupts them, saying that he can't get a long-distance connection and that the phone lines are down. I think this is the traveling fire we saw earlier. The Final Destination fire. But Meeker grabs his jacket and tells Loomis to come with him to check on Jamie.
Listen, the minute that sheriff strutted out, I was like, okay, this is going to be the same shit of Loomis being like, listen, and then being like, no, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever. The sheriff was like, no, we're not doing this shit again. Okay, you do this, you do that. I'm going with. I was like, okay, I have to credit this film with that.
Yeah, I was very surprised that it went that way too. And that only made me think, I know we love Loomis and I know he means goodness. How bad would that suck? We've been quiet for how long now? You come in
back.
here in a panic and you're like, look, I got to warn everybody. It's like, fuck, dude.
But I'm 2 for 2.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to believe me when I open my mouth.
But then when he walks in, they're like, this?
Yeah. Guy's so annoying.
But I'm saying, like, once he realizes when he's like, oh, the phones are down and we're just, and he's like, let's go. Okay, let's go do what you need to do or help us. It would be like, dude, I hope we can contain this because what happened last time, this is my watch. We really don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something wild that's implied later through one throwaway line.
Yeah.
That Michael's rampage was way worse than we thought, or like, because they're just like, we all lost somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, you did? I don't remember that.
Yeah, no shit.
I thought the same thing.
But back in town, Rachel trails behind Jamie as she excitedly goes from house to house, trick-or-treating and having the time of her life.
I loved seeing her finally having fun.
Yes. But she asks if they can stay out all night, but Rachel tells her that they have to be home by 8. On their way to another house, they bump into a few of the assholes who were bullying Jamie earlier at school. Kyle takes off his Frankenstein mask. He's the only one with the name.
Not Kyle.
But he takes off his Frankenstein mask to tell Jamie that her costume is really cool. And he asks Jamie if she wants to come with them to the next house.
Right. Hey, you look like a really cool serial killer. Want to come with us?
Yeah.
Like, sure.
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah.
He's like, no, these are my friends now.
Yeah.
I've totally forgotten what they've said.
Yeah.
I was going to say, keep that same fucking energy at school tomorrow, but also fuck you guys. I'm not going anywhere with you with my cool ass costume.
Yeah. When I grow up, I'm going to be just like my uncle.
That's what you said, Kyle.
Yeah, you said that to me in a deleted scene. But Rachel smiles and urges Jamie to do so. But unbeknownst to them, the shape watches from behind a house across the street.
Now we could see him.
Yeah. He was barely, at least in the first Halloween, he was mostly behind the bushes.
Yeah, he's like, there's a street light right next to him.
And the tree is bare, dude. Like,
He's bold.
It's like, Matthew Myers, I see you. He's like, don't try to hide, boy.
It's been 10 years. I got to get my bearings. But the kids walk over to the next house and ring the doorbell with Rachel standing behind them. Kelly Meeker answers the door and is a little surprised to see Rachel standing there. And even more surprising is when Rachel looks inside the house and by the staircase stands Brady, his shirt half unbuttoned.
It's him walking by and then being like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like that picture of the Bigfoot.
Yes. I was so fucking. He's like, I'm getting it in tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
And if you're not available, I mean, I guess I'll figure something else out.
Jesus.
That is, I was furious.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
I was, but please don't answer the door and give my kids candy like that. Put some shorts on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
I mean, they were.
you guys are doing whatever
Something was
in there.
clearly-
I get it, but the kids are here now.
Just leave the bowl outside.
Yeah. Give me the whole bowl.
Her shirt says something like cops do it by the book or something.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
And her
well-
dad's the sheriff. I'm like, is that your dad's shirt?
And you're right now?
Yeah.
Kelly.
Weird, Kelly.
Yeah.
Very weird. And Brady only gets worse
Yeah.
for
He
me.
does. And you know what's even more messed up? Aside from him, obviously, the fucked up aspect of him cheating on Rachel.
Yeah.
His friend Wade clearly has a crush on Kelly.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't care.
He is just...
He doesn't care.
I hope he dies tonight.
I wish nothing but the worst for you, Brady.
But Rachel's face drops, and she turns to walk away from the house as Brady comes chasing after her. Jamie joins the other children on the way to the next house, while Rachel is distracted by Brady's bullshit explanation. He tells her that she doesn't understand. Rachel blew off their date at the last minute.
And his pants were chafing him. What was he supposed to do?
Rachel says that she thought that he was different from the other guys, and he claims that he is. He was just pissed off.
Oh, okay, I get it.
I don't.
Yeah, no harm. No harm. Oh, you were mad?
Yeah.
Okay, all's forgiven.
But Rachel leaves him to, as she says it, get back to Little Miss Hot Panties. Like, all right.
Look,
Rachel,
when she walked away, she thought of something better to say.
Yeah,
It's like, damn it. And then later, she also has a pretty bad...
Yeah.
It's like, you're just not as quick as you think you are.
She doesn't like confrontation.
I like your moxie,
Yeah.
but get a ghostwriter.
This is why you practice fighting in the shower.
Yeah.
So that if that fight ever does happen 5 years from now,
Uh-huh.
you're ready.
He's like, oh, and if he cheats on me, I'm going to say how warm her panties are. Like, what?
That'll fucking get him.
That'll get him.
That'll get him.
He will cry in the street. I don't think so, Rachel.
No. Yeah.
I don't think that's what'll happen. But after she storms off, Kelly stands in her doorway, asking Brady if he's coming back inside. Brady does.
He does.
Yeah.
I was like, you did not go back in that house. Oh.
No, he did.
Oh, he
Yeah.
did. But Rachel ventures down the street in the dark in search of Jamie and calling out to her, but getting no response.
Those kids took off.
Yeah.
Like, she's not looking. Run. But at a crowded bar, Earl, the bartender, played by Gene Ross, tries to get his patrons to quiet down when a news report comes on the television. Anchorwoman, played by Tammy Sanders, announces that by order of the sheriff's office, all citizens of Haddonfield are being asked to clear the streets, and all business owners are asked to close up shop as soon as possible and to stay tuned for more updates. Earl immediately picks up his phone and starts to dial, as three patrons, Big Al, played by Michael Rood, Orrin Gateway, played by Eric Hart, and Unger, played by Logan Field, sit incredulous that Sheriff Meeker would make such an order. Earl sees right through it and thinks that something else is going on. But when he calls the police station to tell them he isn't closing down without a good reason, no one picks up. With that, Earl assembles the entire bar behind him to go check out the police station because, as he says, a phone never just rings at a police station. No way, no how.
What else did he say?
Evil dies
Guys,
tonight.
I was like,
Yeah. That was the first thing. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, hey, they did that in the new movie.
Yeah. It's funny because we were talking off mic about these little nods.
Yeah.
Halloween 2018, if you think about it, the gas station scene.
Yeah.
It's the gas station
oh,
scene.
okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, like, there's these little bits that are pretty cool to be revisited.
Yeah.
And these sequels really don't get as much attention or love as they could or should.
Yeah.
And so it is nice to see even in the new films.
Yeah. And I will say, I don't know if this was for the love of the sheriff or just them being paranoid, but they were quick to rifles. Let's get in the truck and
Yeah.
go check what's happening.
Yeah, until they started taking out the guns. I was like, okay,
Oh.
because the way that he said it was like based off of the sheriff's reputation. He's doing this for a reason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they took it seriously. When nobody was answering the phone, they're like, okay, something's wrong. We need to go figure it out. Then they grabbed their guns. And I was like, now this is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, they're worried. And,
Yeah.
and though guns are not the answer, if something is wrong, I'm sure, and much later, they do something I thought was very funny, but I completely 1,000%
Yeah.
I was
agree.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
But they all get into their trucks, headlights beaming into the night as they head to the station. We cut to Loomis and Meeker arriving at the Carruthers place, Meeker with his shotgun drawn. Loomis finds Jamie's scattered photos on the floor, picking up the photos of a young Michael and Jamie with her father. Meeker checks on him to see if he found anything, and Loomis just tells him, he's been here. When Meeker asks how he knows, Loomis points to Sunday the dog who lies dead on the floor, all cold and eaten probably.
I was gonna
Why?
say, he's here and he had a little snack. Why is this his calling card?
He's like, every single time he comes to Haddonfield, he does the exact same thing. He steals a mechanic uniform.
Yes.
He gets a white mask. He hides in some bushes. He eats
He
a dog.
eats a dog.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
It's that one friend who he does questionable shit, but it's that one thing that he does. It's like, no.
It's too much.
That's too
much.
far.
Yeah, it's like, I can't take you around people, dude.
Yeah, I can't vouch for you anymore if you're going to keep eating these dogs.
You can tilt your head all you want, man. You got to stop eating the dog.
You've gone too far.
Okay, everyone agrees the head tilt's cool, dude.
Yeah.
We love it.
Right?
That's
why
not
we
the
forgive
problem.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the dog.
But it's starting to not balance out as well as... But on their way out of the house, Meeker tells Deputy Logan, played by George Sullivan, to stay behind in case the family comes back, and he does as he's told. But at an electrical substation, a power worker, played by Harlow Marks, fiddles around with a control panel. He puts a stick of gum in his mouth, but is distracted when he sees the shape skulking behind his truck. This is kind of just the logic of the film that you have to buy into, because Michael was just in the neighborhood like 3 minutes ago. And now he's found his way out here to the substation.
This feels very much like it was just added in.
Yeah.
Like it does not narratively. And again, we were talking at the beginning about this happened so that this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
That is all this is. Like it serves a purpose for things moving forward, because I feel like there's no point to this.
Really not.
Especially, you're right, since he's already there.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
This would have made more sense to happen before we see him in the bushes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then again, it's like they would mess up. It's just...
But then the houses,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
So I don't know. But he approaches the worker, but the worker isn't having it, telling him not to try any of that Halloween shit with him because this is private property. Upon getting no response, the worker threatens to call the police, but just as he walks away very slowly, Michael seizes him and hurls him into wires, transformers, and circuit breakers, electrocuting him and shutting off all the power to Haddonfield.
Well, that was shocking.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
He like spear throws him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do see all the lights go out in the windows of the city.
Yeah.
Sparks shoot from the body of the worker. He's engulfed in smoke. And this has served a ridiculous purpose.
Yes.
I feel like Michael doesn't even really need to do this. We could still exist on Halloween night without all the power off. There is really nothing about the power being off that outside of one later use of a radio.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I mean, maybe atmosphere, but then at the same time, we just watched him hilariously catapult this worker into a...
Yes.
which kind of takes away from the tone of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we see children on the street in their costumes, quickly scooped up by their parents who arrive hastily in cars to whisk them home. The streets are now empty, and Rachel travels alone, calling out for Jamie. Somehow, the shape has returned from the power station, and he watches Rachel from a nearby window. Jamie continues down the street alone, having lost her former enemies and now friends, I guess.
There is no way in hell that I'm going to go pick up Ari and Jackson and there's one random little girl while everybody's freaking out, the power's out, and everybody's like, get in your homes now. We're just going to leave a random child.
Like, you good?
Yeah.
You got someone on the way? I'm sure someone's gonna pick up this kid.
I was appalled.
Yeah.
What the
Also,
fuck is wrong with you?
This kid who in 1988 has no way to reach anyone.
No.
Yeah.
Are you going to text your mom
Yeah.
to come get you?
You're on the corner of Lambkin and Elm. It's like, what?
I couldn't believe that they did that.
No.
I'm glad you said that because that was my next thing.
I would never just leave
No,
a child.
hell no.
That's crazy.
I'm sure their parents saw the memo. We all watch the news on
Right,
Halloween.
you've seen the street lights come on. Why are you not
Yeah,
home?
What are you
go
doing?
home.
You know the rule. But after hearing a branch snap behind her, she calls out, thinking and hoping that it's Rachel. As they continue to search for each other, Rachel hears the same distressing sounds as if she's being followed. She peers around corners and into alleys, but can't find Jamie. But suddenly, off in the distance and through a veil of fog, Rachel sees the shape moving towards her at a glacial pace. Suspenseful music mounts as Rachel runs as fast as she can in the other direction, hopping fences in search of Jamie.
So I did have a quick question. Is this where Jamie usually hangs out in these fucked up alleys that you're over there looking for?
I was thinking
the street is the other way.
Yeah. Like,
why would Jamie be skulking around these alleys?
I don't understand.
is she a raccoon?
Yeah.
Is she a possum?
Just checking in the trash can.
When do you trick or treat back here?
Yeah, never.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
All the best candy's in the trash.
Yeah.
It's a pro tip.
Podmortem PSA. I will say I did like the shot of Michael in the fog.
Yeah.
It made me, again, it's kind of lending to these nostalgic memories of kind of Carpenter Cundy shots.
Yeah.
But we don't get them as much as I would like.
Yeah.
But there is one coming up that I actually missed that you showed me, Nay.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
I'm very excited to talk about that. But Jamie continues down the street, fearful of the noises around her, lying to whoever might be following her that she has a big dog with her, and he bites.
Oh.
Michael's like, don't mind if I do.
He's like, what?
Don't threaten me with a good time. That dog's not the only thing that bites.
And if you get eaten, it's your own fault. But thankfully, it's Rachel who finds Jamie and rushes over to her, telling her to never go off on her own like that again.
Sorry, still laughing at the thought of his stomach growling in the
It's like, what was that? Rachel! But after they hug each other, they both turn their attention to Sheriff Meeker and Dr. Loomis, who pull up to the curb in a police cruiser. They're relieved to have found them, and Loomis rushes them both into the car. But from behind the shrubs, as he loves to do, we see a shape watching their very movements. Before he gets into the car, Loomis notices him, and Meeker asks if that's Michael Myers. Loomis says that it is, but suddenly, another person dressed as Michael Myers joins the fray, and then another, until they're surrounded. Fear fills the men, and Loomis is wasting no time drawing his gun on the first Michael Myers he saw.
There are a bunch of them at this point, like you said, and I was like, I don't think it's the one in the deep V cut shirt.
No, Michael never.
We can roll out that guy.
I don't think that's him.
Mike was never that casual. But as soon as he draws his gun, all the Michaels are revealed to be teenagers pulling a very dangerous prank, and they run off, the sheriff reminding them of the curfew and telling them to go home, threatening jail time if he sees them again.
Loomis does not play.
No.
He keeps that thing on him. And this is a great way to get shot 6 times, my dude.
Yeah.
I would not be fucking around with this at all.
That's all I kept thinking. The seriousness of this. If he would have just opened fire
He
on
was about
you,
to.
Yeah.
what then?
And to this town.
yeah.
It's just wild. And I did laugh because one of the kids, he's running off and he goes, "Oh, that was sweet. You thought it was me, didn't you?" It's like, no, we thought you were Michael. We don't know who the fuck you are, kid. Go home. Go home.
Is that Kyle's older brother?
But Meeker checks in on Loomis before they get back into the car and drive away.
Once again, though, they found Rachel and Jamie. I am just floored by the swiftness and effectiveness and competence of the sheriff.
Yeah.
We never get that.
One thing that the director and screenwriter said that they tried to do is they wanted to make it where all the characters, as best they could, made the right decisions.
Okay.
And they do for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah, and I guess the horror to them is the fact that even in making the right decisions,
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
it was kind of scary. But as they pull away, the real shape stands right behind the car. I was like, was he there the whole time?
He was like, these idiots.
I don't dress like that.
When have I ever had my chest out like that?
But Meeker calls into the station to Deputy Pierce, but when he receives no response, they immediately head back. Leaving Jamie and Rachel in the car, they find the station torn apart on the inside, the phone off the hook and covered in blood. Meeker beams his flashlight through the darkness and says that they wouldn't have given up without a fight. But Loomis says that the sheriff's men didn't know what they were fighting.
How is he doing this so fast?
He was just at the power station.
He's everywhere.
Maybe there are like 4 Michaels.
Stalking Jamie, too.
Yeah.
Well, he was behind the car when they wrote.
Yeah. He was like, man, wait till they find out what I did at the station. But as they continue forward, Meeker finds Pierce's mutilated body among other deputies. He asks Loomis how a man could do this, but Loomis reminds him, this isn't a man.
He's like, have you not fucking been listening to me for the last 10 years?
As Loomis walks away, Meeker follows after him, grabbing him by the arm and asking him what they're dealing with. Loomis simply replies, evil. Back outside, the men from the bar arrive in their trucks with Earl, Meeker telling them to go home and that this is police business. Earl says it looks like to him the police are out of business and he wants answers. Meeker tells them to just go home to their families, but they go in on him, reminding him that they're paying his salary. Jamie clings to Rachel in the back of the police car as Loomis tells the mob, it was Michael Myers. He's come home to kill.
Loomis!
Earl steps forward with his shotgun in hand, and Meeker just tells him to let it be and let the police handle it. Earl asks, like last time? He asks how many people were killed last time, and a voice in the crowd says that Big Al lost his son to Michael Myers 10 years ago. Now, I don't know who the hell Big Al is. I'm going to just...
Yes!
But I'm not going to call Al a liar, but I have no idea who his son could be.
Right.
I looked up, and there's like no consensus online at all.
Huh.
I was going to say normally there's some kind of, it had to be, there's not even that?
No.
Yeah.
Some people are saying that it could be Bob, but his name was Bob Sims. And so they're like, maybe they had different last names than Big Al. I was like, maybe we're reading too much.
This is
Yeah,
a
maybe.
lot. Yeah.
But I'm just going to take his word for it. Maybe there was a much bigger rampage than we saw
Yeah.
Maybe.
than Dean Cundy shot. But Earl says that they'll handle this their own way, and they're going to fry his ass. They all head back to their trucks, and Meeker grabs Loomis by the coat, telling him that he just created a lynch mob. But Loomis reminds Meeker that he doesn't have a police force anymore, and that these men may be the only defense he has. Getting back into the car, Meeker just mutters, God help us.
He does have a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the Carruthers house, after hearing what happened at the station, Deputy Logan rushes to his car and calls in on the radio. The camera peers into the back seat to find the shape lying in wait, overhearing Logan promise to be at the rendezvous point in 5 minutes.
That's hilarious.
Stop that.
As I'm watching, I'm like, how is he here?
He
Yeah.
wasn't even trying to hide either.
No. You can sense a presence, and he wasn't.
Yes.
He wasn't under the seat. He's in the back
No,
seat.
yeah.
No, he's just laying there.
There's not even one of those fences, the gates back
No.
there to
No.
kind of like obscure the vision.
I laughed
Nothing.
out loud.
Yeah.
His hands are just in his lap. He's just like, take me to the church.
That crazy text.
But just as Logan pulls out of the driveway, the Carruthers return. They park in their driveway, realizing that Rachel and Jamie haven't returned home yet after calling out to them. But meanwhile, Earl, Al, Unger, and Orrin think they spot Michael Myers in the bushes behind a gazebo. They pull over and draw their guns in that direction, and without asking any questions, begin firing as soon as they see the slightest motion.
You can't even see who that is.
No.
So that's why I was like, I appreciate the sentiment. Maybe guns in hand isn't the best course of action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
This goes on for quite a while, I will say. And after they finally stop firing and the smoke clears, they head over to investigate. Unger peers over the man that they shot and turns back to Earl in shock, telling him, "Shit, Earl, it's Ted Hollister."
Well, you just murdered Ted Hollister.
Well, he was turning into the shape, though.
Yeah. Oh my God, who knew that
Right,
this
Michael
whole
did
time
it.
Ted
You seen it?
Hollister
Yeah.
instead
Ted
of a
Hollister was Michael
copycat killer or something? We got to get our story straight.
Like Michael shot him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah.
He had a lot of guns.
Yeah, it was crazy. But Earl only seems mildly annoyed, and he tells Big Al, he goes, "You said it was Myers."
Yeah, he did.
And that's it. The scene ends right there.
That's not an appropriate reaction.
It's like, ow. It's like, dude.
Right, we killed somebody, dude.
Yeah. But back at the Meeker house, Kelly and Brady are about to make it sweet next to the fireplace.
I was furious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never liked you, Rachel. Like, he does not give a fuck.
No.
He went right back in and was like, again, oh, now my pants are changing.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit.
And it's wild to me that we're even seeing this because honestly, we really don't care about either of these people.
Yeah.
So they're
That's
like,
true.
It's the 80s. We need this.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me because she's like, let's go upstairs. And he's like, nah, we're fine right where we are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so your dad can see us as soon as he walks in.
Yeah.
It's like, we all know what's about to happen.
The danger. I need the danger.
Yeah. I can't. All right, let's just stay here. Okay?
I have to get into detail.
I don't want to go upstairs.
But they make out, and Kelly takes her top off, Brady remarking that he is in heaven.
Not yet.
Soon. But suddenly, headlights beam through the night and into the windows of the house, Kelly recognizing the car as her father's.
And not Kelly's headlights.
No. Brady goes from midnight to 6.
Well, what? That's a boner killer, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's a shift. It's a mental shift.
But they rush to get dressed, Kelly telling Brady that if her father catches him, he's going to skin him alive, for starters. It's like, there's more after.
Yeah.
Brady's like, tell me what he'll do again if he catches him.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you sweating?
It's suddenly midnight again.
Would you look at that?
But Meeker lets everyone inside as Deputy Logan arrives behind them. Once inside, Rachel stares in disdain at the hastily dressed couple as Meeker tells his daughter to close and lock all the downstairs windows. Loomis goes to find a radio in the basement after Meeker tells him where it is, and then Meeker asks Brady if he knows how to use a gun, and when he says he does, Meeker hands him a double-barrel shotgun and some shells and directs Logan to get his riot gun. He gives Brady a hammer and nails and tells him to secure the attic, and he also tells him that if he catches him groping his daughter, he's going to use that shotgun on him.
How are you going to use it on me?
Wait, how, Sheriff? It's like, oh, hey, whoa.
Get upstairs,
Yeah.
Brady.
Get out of my house.
Secure the attic. Logan rushes out to his car, but finds the back passenger door open. Eerie music plays. It's one of my favorite compositions from Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he closes the door and he heads back inside. Meeker fills a kerosene lantern as Logan asks him if all of this is a little paranoid, but Meeker tells him that if he saw the police station, he wouldn't even ask.
Yeah, I was glad that he mentioned that again because they move on from that very quickly.
Yeah, all of your coworkers are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I guess to go home.
Gotta get to the house.
And please say something about the door. You know you didn't leave that door outside
Yeah.
open like that.
Yeah.
Just say something funny, whatever, anything.
Especially with what we know.
Yeah.
He's like, I may have brought the monster here.
Right, don't be mad at me.
sorry.
I feel like I fucked up.
But upstairs, Rachel puts her arm around a frightened Jamie in bed. Brady comes to check on them and asks what's going on. Rachel just telling him, Michael Myers.
If you don't get the fuck out of my face,
Yeah.
the fact that you're still in this house when I got here, don't ever talk to me again.
She's like, you went back?
That's wild.
But Brady says he has no idea who Michael Myers is. Rachel reminds him, 10 years ago, Halloween. And she tells him that Michael is Jamie's uncle. Jamie bursts into tears, saying that the kids at school were right. Brady's like, I'll leave you two to this.
Yeah.
I feel like this was just for us, but we've already been told this.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand how children in elementary school know who Michael Myers is, but Brady doesn't.
Maybe just moved here.
Okay. Fair enough.
But outside, Logan nails up the shutters as Brady makes his way into the attic inside. He shines his flashlight through the dark, hunkering down in the corner of the room and looking out the window. Downstairs, after Carrie secures all the windows, Meeker puts Logan on guard at the front door. He locks the deadbolt, promising his daughter that they're safe, and he says that when he padlocks the back door, that this will be the only way in and out of the house. In the attic, Brady busts his hands hammering a nail and suddenly hears a squeaking noise behind him. A door creaks open right next to him, but when he shines his flashlight in that direction, it appears to just be a mannequin draped in a cloth.
That mannequin still opened that door.
Yeah.
This house is still haunted.
It's still scary.
Has nothing to do with Michael Myers. We still need to get the fuck out of here. But back in the bedroom, Jamie asks Rachel when they'll be able to go home, and Rachel tells her soon. We're going around this house a lot because in the basement.
Yeah.
Loomis and Meeker attempt to use the radio, broadcasting on a police emergency frequency, but they get no response. Upstairs, Logan waits by the door, eventually taking a seat in a rocking chair, which I'm sure will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, thankfully, makes coffee for everyone in the kitchen, but she does look around a little uneasily.
It's instant.
It is. So,
Which,
thank you.
Thank you, but I don't want that to be my last drink.
No, the gesture's there, but you better grind those beans fresh. But back in the bedroom, Jamie has fallen asleep, so Rachel kisses her on the cheek and steps outside quietly to make her way down the stairs. Her silhouette finds Logan, who tells her that they can go home whenever the state police get here and promises her that it won't be long.
While she's talking to him, this is when you see a glimpse of his mask, in the shadows behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And then just as quick, it's gone. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the first film with Michael coming slowly into the light with that iconic shot of Laurie, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's another homage.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated that. And thank you for showing me because I missed it.
Oh, of course.
There's a few times they do that, and it looks really good every time.
That is just so cool. But back in the basement, Loomis and Meeker finally connect with someone, a man named Frank Duke in Tuckerville. He asks if they have some kind of emergency, and Meeker calls in immediately, telling him that their phone and power lines are down in Haddonfield and that they have a killer loose on the streets, Michael Myers. Duke asks if this is some kind of Halloween prank, but Meeker assures him that it isn't. So Duke says that he'll get his troopers on it right away, but he needs some more information first, and Meeker tells him that he's not going anywhere.
I know this doesn't have to do with the movie. I just realized it.
Huh.
That's the same name of the character played that Jean-Claude Van Damme plays in Bloodsport.
Frank Duke?
Yeah, but
What?
Dukes. Yeah, but
Really?
he's a real person though. And this thing is like a story he did or like a movie about the guy.
Holy shit.
But yeah, I was thinking about. I was like,
That's so random.
where do I know that name? I was like, oh yeah, Bloodsport.
But Loomis heads upstairs, finding Rachel and asking if Jamie is all right. Seemingly annoyed, Rachel just says she's fine. I don't know why she's mad at Loomis.
Yeah.
Kelly's right there.
Yeah.
And so is Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you just left your little sister alone asleep in the room, dude.
Yeah, you did.
That part.
Yeah.
I know that we're supposed to feel safe here, and I'm glad that she does.
Mhm.
Well, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, stop leaving her alone.
Yeah.
But Kelly looks at Rachel funny, but Loomis just tells Logan that help will be here soon. Logan says it was a hell of a night, but Loomis tells him it's not over yet.
Yeah.
He's like, woo!
It's like, I'm beat.
glad, glad that's over.
Yeah, we got a lot of funerals to plan. But the fireplace still burning and the blue light of night cast against his face, Loomis says that he's going to the Carruthers house, which is where Michael Myers will likely go. Logan says to just leave Michael to the Stadies, but Loomis says that they won't know what to do to stop him.
He's like, I'm the only one that knows that you need to shoot him at least 7 times.
Trial and error.
6 is not going to do it.
Logan asks if Loomis knows what to do, and Loomis just responds, maybe nobody knows how to stop him, but I have to try. Logan locks the door behind Loomis after he leaves. Back in the kitchen, Rachel kindly hands Kelly the sugar when she's looking for it, but after a moment, Kelly lies, saying that she didn't know that Rachel and Brady had anything between them. Rachel calls her out on her bullshit, saying that Kelly of course knew, she just didn't care. But Kelly tells her that Brady isn't married, and that she has a right to do what's best for her. Rachel counters, don't you mean what you do best?
Damn.
Yeah.
Kelly turns around, telling Rachel to wise up to what men want, or Brady won't be the last man she loses to another woman.
A real girl's girl. We love to see it.
Rachel goes to walk away, but then grabs a cup of coffee, throwing it on Kelly's shirt, but I don't even think it makes contact.
I
Look,
thought
she's
that
doing her
too.
best.
It's like, wow, you couldn't even do that.
It was bad. She goes, have some coffee, or how about some coffee or something? It's like, what?
So you
Spills
just
it on the
leave?
floor.
Yeah.
Is there- what the fuck?
I'd be replaying that moment for the rest of my life.
Yeah. God damn it, why didn't I?
It's humiliating.
But downstairs, Meeker overhears people chattering on the radio about the accidental murder of Ted Hollister. Someone asks, well, is he dead? And another voice goes, oh, he's dead. Like, yeah, we killed him.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But Meeker calls into them, and of course, no one responds. They're like, oh, shit. The frequency's been compromised. But Rachel walks downstairs asking Meeker what's going on, but instead of answering her, he just grabs his shotgun and puts her on radio duty. He says that the state police will send word once they're en route, and when they do, she needs to go tell Deputy Logan. She understands the assignment, and Meeker heads upstairs. Once there, he tells Logan that with the mob running around, he needs to bring order back to the town. He asks, who could be next? Someone's wife? Someone's kid? He says he can't just stand by for that and leaves the house. Again, doing the right thing.
He's a good
Yeah.
guy.
But upstairs, Jamie is asleep in bed, but she wakes up when she hears tires screeching outside. When she realizes that she's all alone, she calls out to Rachel, who sits nervously by the radio in the basement. Kelly brings a tray of coffee mugs into the living room, well lit by lanterns. She offers a cup to Logan, who just sits with his back to her, rocking in his chair without a word or response.
A little suspicious.
Yeah, Logan always behaves exactly like that.
Yeah.
But Kelly says that she wishes they would fix the power. At least they'd have some MTV to watch while they wait for the cavalry. It was 1988.
Yeah.
But when she strikes a match, the candle she lights illuminates the lifeless face of Deputy Logan just across from her. She turns her attention back to the chair that she thought Logan was sitting in, but we see the shape rise up from it, having pulled off one of his famous pranks.
I was going to say, ever the prankster.
Yeah.
He's like, man, this has been 10 years.
It was a little funny that he was sitting there the whole time waiting.
He's rocking. He's like, man, when she
Like,
finds
just
him.
wait. Yeah.
But as Kelly backs away from him, Michael impales her with Logan's shotgun, pinning her to the wall like Bob Sims from the original. I was glad that he didn't shoot her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'd be like, really?
Yeah.
But I feel like this is another little homage. I do feel like some of the murders are kind of boring in this film.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Like, let's just throw him into some electricity.
Yeah.
This one was just really quick.
It was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
But Duke finally calls in on the radio downstairs, saying that he should have cars dispatched to Haddonfield in 5 minutes, ETA 35 minutes. Rachel responds in the affirmative, giving an awkward over and out to close out the conversation.
She's doing her best.
She is. He's like, what? What? We don't say that anymore.
You've never even been on a radio before, have you?
Where's Meeker?
I bet you can't even throw
Yeah,
coffee in somebody's face.
Yeah, I bet you missed and throw it on the floor.
Poor Rachel.
But she heads upstairs, calling out to Deputy Logan, but finds no one there. As she looks around, she quickly discovers Logan's mangled and misshapen corpse and Kelly impaled against a door. She screams in horror, rushing to find Jamie, but when she reaches the bedroom, she finds that it's empty. As she heads back downstairs, Brady bumps into her, telling her that they need to leave now. Rachel says that they need to find Jamie, but Brady just motions over to Logan's corpse, asking if Rachel thinks that Jamie stands a chance.
This dude, you keep getting better and better. I could not fucking believe him.
You mean like if they box? Like, I don't know what
It's like, I'm going to whoop her ass.
I don't know why he says, he's like, she's already like,
Yeah.
he's like, let's go.
Just forget about her. Don't even try to help her.
Don't look for her.
I hate him.
He's the worst.
Yeah.
But shotgun in hand, Brady tries to blast the door open when they can't find the key. But he just shouts, metal! It's metal!
Stop.
And so Rachel goes, what does that mean? It's like, what could it mean, first of all? But second of all, I don't think that
A
the shotgun its only enemy is it's like rock paper scissors, where it's like I guess the paper kills the rock for some reason.
It covers the rock.
Well, he blows the lock on the top one.
Yeah.
So the door still would, dude. Shoot around it and you can kick it in.
I promise.
I
No,
don't.
that door is the shotgun's natural enemy.
But she goes, "What does that mean?" And he goes, "We're trapped in this house."
For me, this is where I'm like, okay, now
This is just-
this is going. I've been giving you every benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
This is too much.
That's why she kept blowing you off.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're trapped in this house.
There's a window right there.
We
dude.
can't kick the door down. The
No.
window.
No.
That's hilarious.
But he rushes Rachel upstairs, where she's quickly reunited with Jamie. The reunion is short-lived, however, when Brady spots the shape downstairs standing in front of the fireplace.
Jamie's like, "Hey, fuck you, Brady." I heard what
I
you
heard
said
all
back
that. The house echoes. It's empty. But Brady aims at the shape as he slowly creeps up the stairs, but his shaky hands can't load the gun fast enough. He tells Rachel to take Jamie up into the attic and finally loads the gun just before Michael approaches him. He fires and misses, and the two tussle over the gun in front of a large window after he tries to bash Michael with it. With ease, Michael busts Brady's face with the gun and then throws it over the railing. Brady returns bloodied and throws a punch, which Michael catches and cracks in his fist. He lifts Brady by the throat, digging his fingers into Brady's cheek and squeezing his neck until it crunches.
Bye.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You will not be missed.
Now he's in heaven.
I will say I'll give him like the tiniest crumb of credit for throwing a punch. I mean, he tried.
He did try.
I mean, at least he was like, oh, fuck it. I'll buy you 3 seconds. But I mean.
And that is very good of him to tell them to go into the attic.
Yeah.
Finally.
He wasn't like, swarm.
Yeah.
Like,
give Jamie to him.
yeah, that'll distract him and then we can get out.
Right, let's get him, guys. And then he's gone.
But after dispatching Brady, the shape heads upstairs into the attic, easily tossing away a makeshift barricade that Rachel and Jamie left on the staircase. He finds a knife. I don't know where this knife block is.
Yeah. I was like, why is that up there?
Yeah, it's clearly he grabbed this from the kitchen earlier and they edited it in here.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I was really surprised that it took this long for him to get a knife.
Yeah, dude.
This is like the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like it.
You're telling me no one was making a sandwich in the town?
And now it's bloody and filled
Meaty.
with lunch meat. But he snags the knife as Rachel locates a window, telling Jamie to get down as she breaks it open. With Jamie on her back, they climb across the rooftop. Before they can reach the top of it, a shingle breaks loose and they come tumbling down. Thankfully, Rachel snags a pipe and they make another attempt. So this roof was built in the middle of a field in Utah, and it's actually, the bottom of it is 1 foot off the ground,
Okay.
and the peak of it is about 6 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
But the problem with it is that since it was really outside, they're dealing with all the elements, and so they really were slipping and falling a lot.
Okay.
And the actress is carrying
Yeah.
Danielle Harris on her back for real.
Well, you can tell at one point because she gets back on and you see her face and then she like climbs away.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that was really her.
Yeah. There's only a few points in this scene, and they'll become obvious when there's stunt women working on this.
Yeah.
But it's the actresses.
That's really
All
impressive.
right.
They said that, I think Ellie Cornell, she slid down on one of these takes like what we just saw, and one of the shingles was very, like, it was moved in such a way that a nail was sticking straight up, and she just sliced her stomach open.
Oh, man.
But she goes, it wasn't like guts were hanging out or anything. She goes, they just patched me up and we did another take. I was like, you're a trooper.
Yeah.
But as soon as they reach the top of the roof, Jamie notices the shape advancing on them.
Did him climbing out onto that roof look hilarious?
Oh,
to anybody
yeah.
else?
Well, because I kind of want to see more like, not like Frankenstein movements, but he looked like I was doing it.
That was a dude climbing up there.
Yeah.
It looked hilarious to me.
That's my note. This fool is not climbing a house for the kill. Come on.
And you know that he did the...
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm saying it's me. Like, I want it to be Michael Myers doing this. But she tells Jamie to slide down the other side toward the chimney, but Jamie says that she can't. Rachel goes, "Well, try, damn it," and pushes her. Michael stabs at Rachel but misses, and she slides down next to Jamie at the chimney. She ties a cable to Jamie's waist and slowly lowers her to the ground. I don't know how she knew this would work.
Yeah. It did, though.
It did. But when Michael reaches Rachel, she just drops Jamie, who is left swinging as Rachel tussles with Michael on the roof. Rachel clings to the side of the rooftop, eventually letting go and falling from a great height onto the front lawn. Jamie swings herself over to a tree and is able to climb down to the ground, and when she rushes over to check on Rachel, she's unresponsive, and she begs for her sister not to be dead.
Well, she asked her to come alive.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Is
what?
this a spell?
Yeah. I was like, I don't understand.
Is this Halloween Resurrection?
And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
It was.
But Michael is somehow already on the ground. And he stalks Jamie through the fog, so she takes off running and screaming for help. Rachel wakes up on the ground, but Jamie is long gone on a distant street looking over her shoulder. Out of nowhere, I have to admit, I was scratching my face when this happened, and I almost pulled my whole face off like a fucking Halloween mask, because Loomis lurches out of nowhere, and there's a sting.
Yeah.
I was not counting on that at all. But as he does, he seizes Jamie and asks what she's doing out here alone. Jamie tells him that everyone is dead and she just wants to go home. Loomis tells her she can't because that's the first place that Michael would look for her. So instead, he asks her to take him to the schoolhouse and says that they'll be safe there. Once they reach the front doors, he holds Jamie close to him and he shoots the door open. That's how you do that, Brady.
I was going to say, because you can't shoot through metal.
Oh, it's metal, so.
This is bullshit.
But an alarm sounds loudly as they head inside. In the halls, Loomis checks several doors looking for a place for them to hide, telling Jamie that they'll hear sirens soon and then they'll be safe. Jamie asks if he believes that, and he tells her he doesn't.
At least he's honest.
He's like, don't lie, or no, lie to the kid.
Yeah.
For right now, yeah.
But you know who else is going to hear these alarms that are going off right now? Michael Myers.
Exactly
And
right.
everyone else.
Yeah.
I was like, shut that up.
Well, almost immediately, the shape leaps out from behind them, now with a sweet new blonde hairdo.
Yes. he had time to stop and get his hair done and then show up at the school. Because I was like, how is he? He's inside already.
Yeah.
He is. But he throws Loomis through a glass window. Now,
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
we don't see Loomis for a while. But the thing about the mask, the director said, I guarantee that we were shooting this scene very late. Someone just grabbed one of the masks and we didn't check it. I was like, but you filmed it.
Meaning
Yeah.
you didn't look at it? Like, you don't need to
He's like, we all had our eyes closed.
scrutinize it. Yeah. You can clearly see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, this was just such a lazy way to get Loomis out of the picture because
Yeah.
you're right. He tosses him through the glass and we do not see this motherfucker again for a while.
But Jamie runs away in terror and then turns around to survey the long, empty hallway when she reaches a dead end.
Once Loomis is tossed away and she's alone again and she's trying all the doors to see if she can get in, her crying is like, oh my God, like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
Like, she just sounds so desperate.
Hasn't she been through enough?
Just like, again? It's terrible.
But she slowly creeps down the hall, screaming at the top of her lungs when she sees Michael on the staircase. She trips over her own feet on the way down the stairs and takes a very hard tumble. Michael joins her at the bottom of the steps, grabbing for her, but somehow Rachel shows up with a fire extinguisher, blanketing the room in white smoke.
Okay, Rachel.
Yeah.
I guess she heard the alarm?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. We all did.
Well, the mob also hears the alarm ringing at the school, and when they arrive on the scene, they see Rachel carrying Jamie outside to safety.
I forgot about them until they rolled up.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of had to make a hasty retreat when the sheriff was on their ass.
Yeah.
But they ask her what's going on, and she tells them that Michael Myers is inside the school. Earl rallies his troops as we see atmospheric shots of the empty school halls, but Jamie cries, telling the men that Michael will kill them too. Rachel pleads with them to just let the state police handle it. Unger and Big Al convince Earl and Orrin to vacate and let the troopers worry about Michael Myers.
This was hilarious
Mm-hmm.
because I expected them to still run in and get killed, or and they're just like, nah, this is really outside of our pay grade.
He goes, that's why they get paid, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
It is very funny because they do crumble right away. It's like,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, no,
It
that's
didn't
fine.
take
That's fine. But hey, on the cool, again, if this is really happening and somebody's like, that dude or Michael, the real life Michael Myers is in there. So, no, you know what? Oh, you guys are safe. Let's go. Let's go. We don't. No. I don't need to know how he's alive or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is no longer my business.
That's fine.
But they bring Rachel and Jamie along for the ride in their truck as they leave.
As they're driving away, I'm like, they did, aside from the murder that they committed, they did everything right. Everyone has done what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. But we see them speeding down the road, leaving Haddonfield. Earl calls in on the radio, telling the rest of the mob that he has Rachel and Jamie, and he's taking them out of town on Route 410. He says that the state police are on their way. But we then see the state police heading towards Haddonfield in the opposite lane. Big Al fires his shotgun in the air to get one of the troopers to stop, which he does, and approaches their truck as it stops too. He asks if they're coming out of Haddonfield, and Earl tells him that they're coming from the elementary school. The trooper directs them to a highway patrol substation with officers that will take care of them, and they speed off. Earl assures Rachel and Jamie that everything will be okay as they continue into the night. They travel through a thick fog, and somehow, I don't know if he sideshow bobbed himself under the car.
That was my exact thought, dude.
But Michael Myers' hands reach up into the bed of the truck where Big Al, Oren, and Unger are. He climbs up, knife in hand.
No noise.
No noise.
No nothing.
And he quickly dispatches all three men, stabbing them and hurling them from the moving vehicle. Unger has his back while two of his friends are murdered. He's just looking at the road.
He's driving.
It's like, will you turn around? And Michael's just like, yoink, and just throws him.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest. This was hard for me to believe without it looking like the actual Michael Myers. So it's like, I was like, oh man, dude, really? That truck's the tailgate's gonna rattle when you're trying to pull on that thing and pull yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
None of them noticed this big ass dude coming onto your truck.
We saw you pull yourself out of the roof.
You know what's funny as well is that the cop that stopped, I bet when the truck stopped, Michael's like, all right. But he's like, oh, fuck. He's like, gotta wait. I just don't understand. Look, I understand the logic that we have to buy into of him being able to be anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
This is too far.
It's a bit much.
It is.
But Earl looks into his rearview mirror and suddenly appears very concerned. But before he can say or do anything, Michael smashes through his window, grabbing him by the face and tearing his neck open as Rachel and Jamie scream. This was the other bit of gore that they added later.
Damn.
And it looks rough.
Yeah.
It looks
It
pretty
does.
good. And I will say that the smashing of the window with his hand, maybe that's another callback.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you didn't even see the wrench this time.
Yeah.
The wrench painted in a flesh tone. But Rachel gets into the driver's seat as Michael holds on for dear life on the roof. This looks fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, because his legs are whipping in the breeze. It's too much. It's really taking the magic out of Michael Myers.
A little bit.
For me. But the Halloween theme plays as Rachel boots out Earl's corpse and drives recklessly down the road. Michael reaches in and tears her sweater and then smashes the windshield with his fucking forehead.
Oh my God. The way it smushes in when oh fuck.
Why?
I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
That if anything takes me out of me thinking it was Michael Myers, that right.
Mike would never do that.
No.
So ridiculous.
But Rachel finally screeches to a halt, sending Michael tumbling over the hood of the car. He stands up as if nothing happened, wearing more pads than normal. And after a moment of difficulty shifting gears, Rachel drives straight into him, sending him flying into a ditch. Meeker and the state troopers arrive on the scene, and Rachel tells Jamie to stay in the truck. But Jamie eyes Michael through the window and watches as his hand goes lifeless, letting go of his knife. Rachel runs over to Meeker, who asks very dramatically if they're all right. He yells at him. He's like, "Are you all right?" It's like, "You're scaring me,
He's
dude."
been through a lot.
Yeah, but come on. But Rachel says that they are, but he asks where Jamie is. We find Jamie in the ditch with Michael, reaching for his hand and holding it in hers.
You left her alone again?
Yep. The troopers gather with Meeker, who shouts for Jamie with Rachel, telling her to get away from Michael. Jamie drops his hand and stands up to walk toward them, but we see Michael's hand seize the knife once again as he rises in slow motion. They tell Jamie to get down, and she rushes towards them. That's not getting down. It's like, I will stay at full height and run
right at you,
right
guys.
directly in the line of fire.
You don't tell me what to
But the police use all of their firepower, blasting Michael with everything they have and sending him careening down into a mine.
Yeah, dude with the clever girl shotgun. Man.
That was wild.
Yeah. Where did he come from?
Is that the riot gun they're talking
yeah.
about?
I was like,
It's like,
damn.
good Lord.
He's not a dinosaur, bro. You don't need that.
No, they lit his ass up.
I will say that there is a scene that is used in Halloween 5 that they shot for Halloween 4 where they literally light a stick of dynamite and drop it into the mine.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it on a featurette, and they were talking about McElroy said that it pleased him that Mustafa Akkad would use that footage in 5, but it's also very hilarious.
I was like, that sounds cartoonish.
That they had dynamite just on them. They're like, just in case he falls into a mine.
Was it Acme?
Yes. That's why he survived and continues. And I will say that the director's intention, and honestly, I am fine with it if this is going to be the end of the franchise, is that Michael Myers died right here.
Yeah.
And for me, that's fine.
Well, once we get to the conclusion of this film, it works. It really does.
Absolutely. But sometime later, Meeker reunites Rachel and Jamie with the Carruthers, and Loomis arrives too, still alive, but worse for wear. Meeker tells Loomis that it's over, and he agrees, telling him that Michael Myers is in hell, buried where he belongs. Meeker says that the kids aren't likely to forget what happened tonight, and we see Rachel clearly changed by tonight's events. But Loomis says that if they survived this ordeal, they'll survive its memory.
If Loomis is saying that it's over, you got to breathe a sigh of relief.
Oh, yeah. But Darlene takes Jamie upstairs and runs a bath for her. But in a POV shot, we walk down the hallway upstairs, peering at an adjacent sink, and we see a hand grab a pair of scissors. As Darlene sets towels on the side of the bath, the eye holes of a mask are slid onto our face. The camera finds its way into the bathroom where Darlene turns to face us. At the stairs, Loomis hears Darlene's blood-curdling scream and stumbles up the stairs, but stops frozen in horror. He screams, "No!" And we see, at the top of the stairs, standing there in a clown costume stained in red, a mask on her face and wielding a bloody pair of scissors, is Jamie. She breathes rapidly as the Halloween theme plays and Loomis continues to scream. He raises his gun to fire at her, but is stopped by Meeker, who takes the gun from him, but freezes as well when he sees Jamie at the top of the stairs, covered in blood. Rachel and Richard join them, in shock, as Jamie raises the scissors again, her face blank, pale, and emotionless. We fade to black, and the credits roll. So, what did you guys think of Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that it wasn't a surprise because I do see what they were doing and I get it, but I feel like you keeping her in this costume the entire time, you kind of already told me what I was looking to see later. The flashback thing when she was trying it on, that to me was a dead giveaway. It was like, okay, all right. So when it does happen, it is oh shit. But I feel like when she grabs the scissors and then it's like, oh, all right. Well, I mean, I would have liked to not have seen this. Maybe if she would have taken the costume off later at some point, put on regular clothes and was running around. Then when we see her, she's got the costume back on and stuff. I don't know. But it just wasn't as impactful to me anyway. The movie is fun. The movie is It does feel weird at times, I guess, because we don't have a traditional Michael Myers mask.
Yeah.
And it did take me out of it. Some of the stuff he does, like he's climbing on the roof, he's smashing his face in the thing.
Dude, that's...
He's fucking...
It's hilarious.
He's like Paul Vault throwing the guy. It's like, I don't know. I was like, what the fuck? But it's very like you can tell they tried to ramp him up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh no, let's make him a little bigger Mike. You know what I mean? He's gonna do more stuff. It's like, yeah, but you're missing the point, and from the beginning, why he was scary. You know what I mean? Yeah, we do get those cool when he's in the shadow hiding and stuff, but for the most part, like, we full ass see him, because if it wasn't dark and we probably would have. I wouldn't say we wouldn't have noticed, but we probably wouldn't have noticed as much that he was blonde.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you're a master of the hiding and you're a shadow, we barely see you.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And your kills are like, fuck. But when we see you all the time, and dude when he sees you enough to throw a punch at you, I mean, I'm seeing you too much. You know what I mean? Just a tad bit. Plus, you're the shadow, man, or the shape.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You should be in the dark constantly. You know what I mean? I should see you as the boogeyman, not as, oh, fuck, here comes this crazy dude again. You know what I mean? He stole another car and he's back again. But I did enjoy the movie. It was pretty fun. I still feel like we're in Michael Myers territory. We are still there, but it does feel off. There is something about the movie that for me continued to feel off the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Loomis, always great.
Oh, yeah.
Always great. That was a giant saving grace for me. The performances are great, but I think just Mike being a different face really hurt it for me. Like, it really took me out of that, and then Brady sucked. And there was just things too. They're just like, huh? All right, fuck it. But I do appreciate the things they did right.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Some things you gotta, some things are good, some things are bad, just gotta take it together and, what do you get?
Yeah, the facts of life.
Yeah.
I am just realizing I forgot to say something that I meant to earlier, and I was like, I'll be back to talk about that later. Then I really forgot. The store that they used for Vincent's drug, I accidentally went down a rabbit hole and ended up on the Salt Lake Tribune. They talked about it. The fact that it's a real store, and they used it in Halloween 4 and 5.
Okay.
They used it in Touched by an Angel,
Oh, wow.
Sandlot,
All right.
and the Stan miniseries.
Wow, man.
Hey.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have pretend I said that when they were at the store.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
I will not be splicing it in.
Spice it in. But no, I feel like this movie's a lot of fun. Like I said up top, my issue is, I don't want to say filler, but it almost feels like filler kind of in the middle when we're getting toward the end. It's just like, okay, like you said, now we're in the basement. Okay, now we're in the attic. Okay, now we're in the bedroom. Okay, now we're back in the living room,
Yeah.
I do want to give the film its props for having a sheriff and his like squad that are actually intelligent, actually heeding the warnings, because we don't really get that a lot. And even that mob, I feel like having them kill someone was a big mistake.
Yeah.
Because even when they get to the schoolhouse and they're like, well, our job is done, let's get these kids out of here, whatever. I like that, but then you have to remember that they killed someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they killed someone they know first and last.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a person that they could have been drinking with. This is
Yeah.
a friend of theirs or something. Or,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's no good.
It speaks to the dangers of mob mentality.
It
Yeah.
does.
But then later on, they're
But
just
then
like,
you can't exactly. You can't be like,
like,
we don't want to take this too far.
yeah,
You know?
let's. We're trying to have fun tonight.
There are some really cool visuals. That moment of him in the shadows is just fantastic. Like you said, the performances were really great. Danielle Harris, as a child, fucking killed it. I love the ending. That mask is a big issue for me as well. I just hate it so much. It's just really, really terrible. But yeah, overall, I think that this one is still fun. I think, like you said, we're still in Michael Myers territory. There are parts of it that don't completely gel. I mean, especially if you go from watching 2 to 4, it's like, now hold the fuck on. None of this should be happening. There are those moments of what and why, like her having his picture, her seeing him with the ambulance parked outside. There are moments that flat out kind of don't make sense. But I think if you overall, it's still fun. It's a fun slasher. And I really genuinely love the ending.
Yeah. And I think the ending is just, honestly, for me, the parts that I don't enjoy, it's like building just to get to that ending.
Yeah.
Just get us there so we can have that moment. And it's so perfect for even Dr. Loomis as a character, because it's like he was here from the beginning in 63.
Yeah.
Then 78, Michael comes back after years of being a psychiatrist. He deals with him that night. He gets put back. He comes back 10 years later. He deals with him again. Finally, it's over.
Yeah.
And then it just restarts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is some commentary about the evils of the world. Just like the fucking preacher was saying in the car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it that's really, really good. But then there's this stuff that it's like, oh, I guess he's cheating on her or something.
Yeah. The stakes are lower.
Yeah. So it's like very weird. We're talking about these large concepts and it's like, well, I was mad. And so it's like, come on, dude. But I feel like I really appreciate a lot of the homages.
Yeah.
These references to Carpenter's work in 78. This feeling of trying to recapture some of that in some of these shots and some of these scenes. But then there's these weird scenes as well that just do not work.
Yeah.
Weird kills of just throwing a motherfucker in a spark. It's just like, I'm like, all right, and really my biggest negative is just the look of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and it's not, I don't know. Even when he lurches up in Jamie's nightmare, you're like, that's his face? That's going to be his face in this film?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's on it. Frankly, it's upsetting.
It is.
And I don't understand how hard it is to get that right. Like, it's so strange to me.
Yeah.
But, I like a lot of the other stuff. I like Danielle Harris's performance and Dr. Loomis. Donald Pleasance is brilliant. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, is it on the level of Halloween? Not at all.
Yeah.
Is it on the level of Halloween 2? No.
Yeah.
Is it on the level of Halloween 3?
No. Still no.
But it's still all right.
Yeah.
And that ending really brings it up at least a point for me.
Yeah.
But I guess we can move into ratings. Only thing I really haven't said on the positive side is the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Alan Howarth's compositions and his reusing of Carpenter's.
Yeah.
I like some of the shots and the way they use color and the light. I like the use of Michael as this specter in the fog a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really neat. I don't like him bashing his head into a windshield.
What about hoisting himself onto the roof?
Yeah. Not so much. Maybe just show him standing there in the fog.
Yes.
Already there?
That's exactly what I thought, because I'm like, I'm really surprised
They're showing the process
showing him getting up
of him standing there. It's weird. But I mean, the performances are good, as I said. The characters, I actually like Rachel.
Yeah.
I do too.
But there's just something about it that it just doesn't feel on the level of those of the previous films. And so, I mean, I don't know. Should we have brought Michael Myers back? I'm not sure. I think that I really appreciate his ending in 2. But I really, really appreciate this ending with Jamie.
Yeah.
And if we end it here and it's like this cycle of a never-ending evil that is plaguing this town and specifically ruining the life of Dr. Samuel Loomis, I think that's really fascinating.
All right.
But and that last shot, again, it's great. So, I mean, I'm very torn. But for me, I think on a scale from 1 to 10, horrifying homecomings, I'm going to give Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, 6 horrifying homecomings out of 10. I would like to, honestly, in my mind, if the ending was just wrapped up in a neat little package, I think that I would give this film a 5. But that ending is so good, it deserves its own point, I think.
For sure.
All right.
But I will now open the floor to you.
I think for me, I prefer it in the newer movies only because he's learning from Michael somewhere else. Like maybe if they would have went home and then Jamie did this away from everybody and then we ended with the dad and Rachel finding them and then them screaming and it'd be like, okay, now there's nobody here to stop her. She's going to take off or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But them being there, that means, oh, you're just going to catch her now and then you're going to put her away. We don't get any more.
Well, they're going to put her away.
Jamie Myers.
And then
Jamie Myers.
Well, I'm just saying.
And then in 15 years, maybe it's the night she came home.
Oh, and then she's got to break out and do all the same thing.
Get a shitty mask.
Yeah.
Let's hope in 15 years they've...
Bleach your hair. It's the whole thing.
But I do agree with you, T. The movie is fun. It is good. But the Michael Myers is so distracting. Like, it's just the things that he does don't feel very Myers-y. They're the mask. It is funny. But again, we even said it with the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. Nothing against Jackie Earl Haley. You know, he's great. But for Freddy, maybe not. You know what I mean? There's like not everybody's made to play every character.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, nobody does it better than Robert. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're on a first name because me and Rob like each other.
Rob.
Yeah, we're
Very
good
cool.
friends. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the padding in the suit.
I don't like that. It was just really weird to have those two different forms of Michael Myers and not try to fix them.
It's like, you clearly switched guys.
Yeah. Clearly.
He's
Clearly.
like, oh, I have a Michael Myers doll too, but I bought mine from, the dollar store or whatever.
It's okay that mine's not movie quality.
But it does. It hurts the movie a lot for me. And I was like, man, like I said, the first one, OG, it's good.
Oh, yeah.
The second one, the synth and the music, and then Michael acting bad on there. And even that wasn't over the
Acting
top.
bad.
He was, but even that wasn't over the top.
Yeah.
And that was fine. And 3, Tom Atkins and the masks, and what more can you ask for?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one couldn't have lived up to the first 3, but it is in the neighborhood. But it's just, man, the mask was so distracting. So for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, horrifying homecomings, I'm going to give Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers,
You got it.
a 5.5. I agree with you. I do like it, but it kept taking me out of it because anything that got built or anything that I was like, oh yeah, as soon as I seen it again, I was like, that's not my mic. That's not Michael. That
Not at all.
yeah, boo.
No, yeah, I feel like y'all covered it. There are moments of this that are kind of a mess, but for me, it all comes back to that ending, and I feel like Danielle Harris really sold every aspect of this character of Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
And while we don't get a lot of characterization, I like Rachel as a final girl. I don't get to know her very well.
Yeah.
I was confused as to if she was an asshole or not at the beginning. Turns out she's not, which is great.
She can't throw the cup of coffee, though.
She
Yeah,
cannot, and she cannot read anybody to save her life. But she took care of her sister.
Mm-hmm.
I cared about Jamie. I wanted desperately for somebody to protect Jamie every time that she was alone. And so to watch this ending, it is, to me, it's great. And it kind of continuing in that way where you could keep this going. And I don't know if that's what they do with Jamie for this trilogy. I don't know. You could keep this going and it's this never ending cycle. It doesn't stop. It wouldn't even stop with Jamie. You know what I mean? This could sustain itself. Obviously that's not ultimately what we get. That's not the story that is told, but it's strong enough to me that it could be. So I'm kind of rating this based on my Halloween 2 score because it is not as good as Halloween 2, but that ending, I really love it.
Yeah.
So on a scale from 1 to 10 horrifying homecomings, I'm going to give Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers. 6.5 out of 10. Horrifying homecoming. The ending is the reason to watch this. I
Okay.
feel like even like the middle on after a certain point, it's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And then you got Michael up onto the roof. Like some of it.
He ran out of ideas when he's bashing his face. And
Yes. Some of it is literally laughable, but that's part of the fun.
It is.
I will say it will be very interesting to get into the Thorn trilogy because for me, this is where I'm like, can we just get to H2O, please? Can we, please?
That's saying something.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, that's all from us at Pod Mortem. What would you rate Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Twitter at the Pod Mortem. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at TravisMWH, at Blood and Smoke, and at JuggaloDaddy84. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at TravisMWH, at Blood and Smoke, and at RealStreeter84. Thanks again to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon and stay tuned until after the music for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, be wary of who you choose to let around impressionable minds. They have the power to shape who they will become. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned. We want to give a very special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Special thank you too. I was too proud.
Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Thomas, Travis Anissa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Gabrielle Trevino, Spooky Mom, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Antonio Huerta, Kimberly Kleindienst, Will Brown, Sydney Smith, Osvaldo Soto, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Brittany Ramatar, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Melissa Sierra, Holly Bryan, Jordan Blevins, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newding, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M, Gary Horton, Leisha Olivier, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun,
Mandy M, Scott Troutman Wise, Mozzie Bear, Brittany G, Dave Burke, Adrian Stakes, Daniel McGinnis, Nick Spill, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G, Emiliana, Brian Glass, CB, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Cow OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Brandon, Nicholas Carter, Sawyer Reese Farr, Dr. Diva Loves Horror, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William and Xxena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Natalie de Guzman, Eileen O, Marissa E, Sydney, Henry F, Megan M, Strangely Sarah, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Jason Hanovan, Abigail Spitzer, Katie K, Erica Morin,
Cameron S, Nicole Stewart, Tris Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A, Lonnie Lono, Powell, Kayla E, Maggie H, Fernando Dominguez, Murder Stina, No Thanks Tom Hanks, Kevin McGonigal, Kristen Marcy, Ori81 Bariqua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Felnez 63, Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, Wade Pack, A Lizard, Bay J, Jay Rich, Jen Lassiter, Topher Williams, Elena Metler, Neil Chesin, Valerie K, Kim Sterling, Christy Lee Kruger, Professor of Humanities Laura McCarricker, Naomi, Josh Smith, Autumn Green, Jess L, Itzel, Heather Santiano, Abby Kopp, Crystal 831, Cassidy Carruthers, Skank Sinatra, Morgan Alexander, Tony Osteen, Julie Fredborg, Rihanna S, Daniel Taylor, Anna Kate, Heather Ortiz, Jen T, and Kim H. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We love each and every one of you, and we hope you know that your support hits us right in the Haddon feels.
Very good.
Thank you. Until next time.